Oh, maybe we don't have an intro. I think we right on to the money.
We right into it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Saturday afternoon practice episode on, I got to remember it now, Purple Rain 24/7. See, I almost said Purple and Go for Days.
Purple Rain 247.
I almost said Purple Pocket Podcast, but you got Justin from Purple and Go for Days, and you got Rap from Purple Pocket Podcast holding it down. Yogi is actually live at the event. He's going to be checking in here with us shortly. But right now, we got Rap, we got Day, and thank you everybody for joining us. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you do not already subscribe to Purple Rain 247. My brother Rap, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good, man. We're gonna see if we can get some footage of Yogi. Now we go just for the ones watching, man. We call this live streaming, all right? So don't get this confused, man. We not in the office right now like that. You feel me? We out in the streets right now. You hear me? Like, hey, but we still gonna get it done though, man. I promised my daughter a water park trip, so that's what I'm doing, man. I gotta get it done. Like
There you go.
that there. I mean, the Vikings are important, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if I don't do that, bruh, you know the struggle.
Now,
But
since
yeah, man,
we,
I'm excited, man. We waiting for Yogi to jump on
yes.
with the camera. He probably gonna get kicked out or something like that, but it's all good though. We gonna do it until they say no.
Yeah, we gonna the party don't stop till they tell us to stop. Well, just so everybody know what's up, shout out Davey Chains and shout out Dave from Vikings First and Skull who's got the comments in there. Because Rap is on his mobile and because this is Yogi's channel, I don't have the ability to put the chats on live streams here, but we do still see them. We will do shout outs, and if you have any questions or comments you want to make for us to address, as always, like we always do, I want to mock. Bob is in the building as well. What's up, Bob? Good to see you guys. Thank you
I
kindly for
see y'all,
joining us.
man. Appreciate y'all tapping in for sure. Appreciate y'all tapping
Absolutely.
in. I see y'all.
So,
I'm on a mark. I think I can pin them. Hold on. I think I can pin the comments actually.
well, don't be doing that while you driving,
Oh
fool.
no, they won't let me do it.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh yeah, there we go.
there we go.
All I gotta do is click it. Shout out Dave, man. Shout out Mr. I Wanna Mock, man. We
What's
got Mike
up,
Sports Vibes in the
man?
building,
Mike
man.
Sports. I gotta tell you, did you watch? You see his show last night?
Man, I messaged him and I was like, man, I can't believe I missed your show, bro. Cause I be
Oh
trying
my
to tap
gosh.
in. I know he go Fridays, man. I felt bad. I had to reach out to him and let him know,
This
man. My
brother
fault.
going on about what's your favorite cereal, and he's talking about Fruit Loops and Cheerios and all kinds of stuff. You got to watch at minimum. You got to watch the whole thing, but at minimum, the last half hour, he's just talking about what's your favorite food, what's your favorite dessert, and it was a blast in the chat. There was still a bunch of people up in there still talking about it after he had gone for like a couple hours. But shout out to Mike Sports Vibe. If y'all don't subscribe to hit up our boy. He lives in Philadelphia. He is a Sixers and Vikings fan, so don't let that scare you that he's in Philly. He's throwing it down. He's going to be in the building week 2 on Thursday night against the Eagles representing the purple, and he's talking like he's going to buy a Kirk Cousins jersey and throw it over the Rocky statue. I said, you better have security with you. You better have some of your boys have your back if you're trying to do something crazy like that, my brother. But
Man, do it, man. You gotta do that, man. You be a legend. You
no
be a
kidding.
legend if you do that. You know what I'm
Shout out
saying? Like you only get one chance.
Shout out Joker Nation in the house. What's going on, Joker? Good to see you.
Shout out
Thank you
Joker
so
in the
kindly
building,
for
man.
joining us. We appreciate y'all. So, where do you want to start? You want to start with your observations from this week, Thursday? What do you want to start with, Rab? While we still got you here.
Yeah, man. Like hey, listen. You already know Ivan Page Jr. the best observation that anybody could have made. Because you know who been on that train from the very get go.
That'd be
So
you and me.
I feel good about that, man. I feel good about that. And Jordan Addison as well. I actually have some content dropping once I leave this water park. But Jordan Addison, another one, man. I think so far it sounds right. It sounds like Quasi made the right choice. You know what I'm saying? So I made the right choice.
Yeah,
We'll see.
the only disappointing thing about Ivan Pace for me is that East Coast Gridiron wouldn't let me get in that bet as well because as soon as he made it with you, he didn't want to make no more. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Yes, this guy has more than exceeded expectations thus far. The guy is an absolute missile. Now, yes, his pass coverage does still leave stuff to be desired, but at the end of the day, for an undrafted free agent who started out working with the threes in the first week of camp to then be working with the twos and on Thursday night's practice to actually get a few snaps with the ones, he is now in competition with Brian Asamoah for the starting middle linebacker spot. I mean, that's just utterly incredible. I don't know that he's going to win it, but hey, at this point, if you've come along that far, that quick, you know that he found a diamond in the rough. What's up, Sarah?
Man,
Shout out Sarah in
he
the
need to
building.
get shout out Sarah in the building. I see you, Sarah. No, he needs to take Hicks spot. Like
I
he need
agree.
to take Hicks spot.
Either way, he
Like,
just needs to get on the field, regardless of who's spot or what spot or who's starting and who's not. I'm really looking forward to this defense with these two linebackers, Asamoah and Pace, and what
like
Brian
listen,
Flores is going to be
like
doing with them.
the truth is this, man. Like Hicks showed us last year that he's not good in pass coverage either. So
We don't have
I
no good
mean,
pass coverage
how
either.
much worse can you get? How much worse can you get putting Ivan Pace in there over Hicks? You know what I'm saying? Because one thing for sure, we know Ivan Pace can tackle and we know he pursues to the football. I
This is
mean,
true.
Hicks is pretty good at that too. But when you talk about pass coverage, I mean, Hicks can't pass cover either. So if that is Ivan Pace's knock, then I mean, what's the big deal, man? Put my
No,
boy in, man. Agent
no,
zero. And now
Nicky.
that Davenport's hurt, go ahead and give him number zero too while you're at it.
You still hung up on that zero. You wanted it pace gang, that zero gang, but hey, we'll see what happens. But in all seriousness, yes, I'm really excited to see Flores using these linebackers. We saw a little bit of it Thursday night where they just pretty much said, we're blitzing on every other play. And what I most enjoyed about Thursday night defensively was the return of the old Harrison Smith, where some plays he's in the backfield, secondary, someplace he's up on the line of scrimmage. Is he blitzing? Is he dropping out? Where's it coming from? Something we saw about one or two times last year with that Donashell. It's something we were used to seeing ad nauseum with Mike Zimmer. And it appears, at the very least, that Brian Flores is smart enough to know I need to use Harrison Smith the way Mike Zimmer did. That along with pace gang and how many times they're shooting gaps, it was a pretty sight to see, to say the least.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. I mean, listen, we definitely have a lot of hope this season when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we might have lost some good names, but I think the coach, man, alone, having Brian Flores, makes up for a lot of the deficiencies, right, that we believe we have. I just do. I just think he's smart enough to put players in the position to be successful. Even young players, like Makai Blackman is seeming like he's running with ones, and seems like he's having a good time out there. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna surprise us. Listen, we can't be no worse than last season, anyways.
Right.
So
It's gonna be different. Shout out Nikki in the building. What's going on, Nikki? We seen you. We just chatting
Nikki,
for
I
a minute.
see you,
What's
Nikki.
going on? But no, I agree with it. Go ahead and put Dave's take back up there. In obvious passing situations, Asamoah is going to be the only linebacker on the field. Whether that's extra cornerbacks or extra safeties with this big safety look, this three safety looks, four safety looks, whatever. You're right. The linebackers are only going to be multiple when it's not known passing downs. But having said that, if that's the only weakness that our linebacking core has is in pass coverage, I can live with that because that is an improvement over last year. I agree with what you just said. A lot of different fan bases in the media trying to talk about all these players that we lost on defense. I'm like, well, we weren't any good anyway. So why are we
Right.
complaining about losing an Eric Kendricks as an example? It's like they're old, they're expensive, and it was time to get younger. And like you said, regardless of what we may or may not have lost talent wise, I think we're going to be able to make up for coaching wise. I absolutely agree.
But I do gotta say this, man. I would have rather kept Kendricks than Hicks. I'm gonna keep it real though. I'm gonna keep it real. Like
Talent
I would
standpoint,
have.
yes. Money
Yeah,
standpoint,
like I think Hicks would have. I think Kendricks would have definitely been better to keep on the squad than Hicks. But Hicks isn't a bad linebacker either. He just
no, he's
don't.
just
He's older. Can't move like he used to. But he is a sure tackler. That's one thing I like about him. Like usually, if he gets his hands on you, he gonna bring you down. So that's a good thing about him.
that's true. I'll say this, Hicks at 3 million versus Kendricks at 10 million. Nah, I know
Yeah.
you don't like getting into the money thing, rap, but there that we got that's got to be part of it. But Nikki says Andrew Booth might be back at camp tomorrow. Yeah, okay, and then he might be out on Tuesday. With all due respect, I wish Andrew Booth Jr. nothing but the best, but I said it at the end of the season last year. I said it all summer. I expect absolutely nothing from Andrew Booth Jr., and if he gives us something, then that's found money. With all due respect, he's just getting hurt too much. I hope that we don't have to label him Andrew. Who did
No, wait.
Herb?
Somebody said it. Somebody said it
Yeah,
the
was
other. Somebody said Herb
Herb
Booth Jr.
Wolfberg Jr. Yes. I mean, I'm sorry, but the guy's getting. That's exactly what Irv Smith is. What do we keep saying about him? Oh, he's going to stay healthy now, and he's going to contribute
Yeah, let's
now.
go to this one right here.
And he never did. He never did. So, I hope Booth Jr. gets back tomorrow, and I hope he manages to stay injury free. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm really not. You muted.
Hey, but I'm gonna real quick, Dave. Hold it down for a minute. Let me buy these tickets and stuff, and I'm gonna pop right back in.
Sounds like a plan. So we got just me, ladies and gentlemen. Get them comments in. Now, again, I don't have control to be able to throw them up there, so Dave's just going to stay up there for a while. But how's everybody doing this evening? What do you throw it into the chat? What do you think? Do you still have? I'll ask it this way: was anybody at the practice on Thursday? We got a lot of pictures on social media. A few people that I know that are content creators there. I know Tyler was there. I know One Bar and Lumpagus were there. Was anybody at the show on Thursday? The only thing I'm going to say about the Thursday night practice and the night practice, because they got another one coming up Tuesday as well. I'm happy, but I'm a little irritated because the night practice used to be on a Saturday night. So those of us who live, say, an hour and a half away here in Rochester, who wanted maybe to bring their kid up, could do that. During the middle of the week, you either got to take a day off of work or you got to drive back home around midnight. All I'm going to say is go back to the Saturday night family night thing, okay? That's all I'm asking for, because Tuesdays and Thursdays in the middle of the week, I'm sorry, that don't work for me. But I know it ain't just about me. But what's going on? Anything on Lewis Scene? What's up, my worthless opinion? Again, thanks everybody for joining. For those who are just getting in here, I don't have control. I'm just in here as a guest, so I can't put comments up. Only the admins can, and I'm not part of the cool kids table on Yogi's channel yet. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks for joining us, my worthless opinions. Greatest single Twitter, Facebook, YouTube handle, TikTok of all time. I digress. Lewis Scene, I think at this point, I'll be really shocked if he gets a starting job. I really do. He's constantly running with the twos. Josh Metellus is showing out. I think he's going to be the big nickel safety. And I know Lewis Scene, and part of it's not his fault where he was drafted, as they always say. And it's also not his fault that the Vikings made the trade back that they made. And we can talk about how they didn't get enough in return from the Lions. But that's not Lewis Scene's fault. So at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed in what we've seen thus far from Lewis Scene, or more importantly, what we haven't seen. But that's really not on him. But having said all that, I don't know. I haven't heard much yet. They had an off day yesterday, so there wasn't that much to report. Again, maybe when Yogi gets in, he can tell us if Lewis Scene is on the field, and also what he's doing, if he's running with the ones, if he's running with the twos, but that sort of thing. That makes perfect sense about the Saturday Night Brand. Yes, I mean, here's the thing: last year was the first year they did not do it on Saturday night. Last year was the first year they did it during the week. So up until then, it was kind of labeled as a family night. The problem is that while there were lots of families there were also other people, maybe in their early 20s that kind of were always sitting in the family section, and it didn't kind of stay as PG as the family section would have liked it to be. So I don't know. Maybe that's why they decided to do it on Tuesday and Thursday, so we don't have too many people getting crazy. I don't know. And again, this is just my perspective, being that I don't live there. But what's my opinion on Abram Smith? Well, I like that highlight package, Mike Sports Vibe, that you put out there on your show yesterday. I mean, again, he's a guy who excelled in the XFL. So we got to take that for what it's worth. I don't know too much about him. I haven't had too much time yet to study him, but decent depth. I think that either Alexander Madison is, going to be put on ice until the regular season because of that little tweak that he had the other day, or maybe it's a sign that, Chai Chandler and Kenny Wong aren't quite putting it down as much as they're hoping for. So definitely a depth piece there. The only thing I'm going to say about Joker Nation, good point. Again, I can't put him up. Joker Nation said we should have taken Kyle Hamilton. I'll say this. I don't mind the trade down. What I mind about the trade is that you didn't get enough back. If you'd either kept your own second-round pick or you had gotten Detroit's first-round pick this year, I would have liked that deal a lot, actually. Now, keep in mind, what we saw from Kyle Hamilton is all well and good, and he balled out in Baltimore. But he would have been playing in Ed Donashell's defense last year. He wouldn't have looked as good as he did in Baltimore last year with us. So it's always one of, the Vikings had 2 chances to take Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we just had Dante Culpepper coming off an MVP season. You didn't know how well Aaron Rodgers was going to turn out. Yes, you had the first 2 picks at 7 and 19 that you used on Troy Williamson and Erasmus James taken before Aaron Rodgers. Well, would Kyle Hamilton have looked as good with us last year? I don't know. Now, maybe, yes, this year we would have seen some dividends be paid, being that he's with not with Ed Donachelle anymore, but actually with a competent defensive coordinator. But we'll see. I think the Vikings yes, they did, Nick. You are correct. It's just one of those deals where it's always fun to look back after a year or two, or even after a career, and say, oh, wow, we could have drafted that guy. Like, yeah, but would that guy have developed? Would that guy have been put into a situation where he would have been as good? Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll say this. I'm still holding out hope for Lewisine. At this point, I'm no longer expecting him to compete for a starting position, and therefore I've adjusted my expectations for him. I'm no longer expecting him to be the starter opposite Harrison Smith, and at that point, when he's not, I won't be disappointed about it anymore. I mean, the guy is coming off a pretty gruesome injury. I mean, he is. Yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic here. Some people say I'm never optimistic, and I'll give Lewisine the benefit of the doubt. But with that being said, Rapp said yes after he had said that he's taking his kid to the park today. So I'm throwing it down here for a while. Let's see. I was there Thursday night, and it was the best time to be there. I'll be there Tuesday. All right, Nikki. All right, shout out Nikki. I know you all can't see, but Nikki said she was there Thursday. She's going to be there again Tuesday. There you go. There you go. Hold on just a quick second here. Who's messaging me? All right, so the practice does not start until 2:30, according to Yogi. So we got about 8 minutes for me to just throw it down here. A Joker. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely hoping he pans out. There's no doubt about it. Yogi's in the building. We got a nice shot of a bench and a couple people walking. What's up, Yogi? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. There you are. Why don't you flip it around for a minute? Why don't you talk at me with it for a minute or two, and then we'll see what we got going on here in a minute. It's still forward. Oh, you can't flip the camera? You can't flip it? Okay. Well, maybe not. That's all right, though. That's all right. As long as you can. There you go. What's up, Yogi? Everybody say hello to Yogi. How y'all doing?
About a new hat.
You got a new one. That's brand new?
Brand new. Got it today.
There you go. All right, talk to us, brother. How's the atmosphere out there? You got a lot of people up
cool.
there?
It's the first time ever being here. Freaking, they got food, kids everywhere. A couple of the players are coming out. Let's see here. Yeah. Took a picture with a couple of cheerleaders.
Well, of course you did.
Yeah. But all right. I can barely hear you, so I'll just flip the camera around and get it ready.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, you enjoy yourself. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. The food is outstanding, and it's a great atmosphere and a good weather day too. We had a downpour of rain yesterday afternoon here in Rochester, so I'm glad that rain hit yesterday and make it a good weather day for you guys there as well. So,
yeah, I woke up today thinking it was gonna rain. I was like, oh hell no.
Worthless Opinion says good looking hat. Dave and Mike Sports Vibe say hello. So. Alrighty, now I don't know how long they're gonna let you do that, so maybe we'll be judicious about it. What's up, Davey Chains? Good to see you again. I think I saw you earlier. Didn't we shout you out earlier? Yeah, we shouted you out earlier. But yeah, hit that like button, and if you don't already subscribe to Purple Rain 247, Purple and Gold for Days, or Purple Pocket Podcast, or Vikings First and Scold, hit the subscribe buttons on all the channels because we're going to be delivering you content all season long, and that includes the preseason. Our schedule is already in full force. David Ditter, what's up? David Ditter in the building. Speed kills. D has to step up for us to win this year. Absolutely, Diddy. Absolutely, Ditter. You are correct, sir. This defense cannot be last in the league. The fact that we even got to the wild card round being last or second to last in the league was a testament to how well the offense played at times. Not to say that the offense still doesn't have room to improve, to be more consistent, less 3 and outs, more time-consuming drives, and that sort of thing. But I agree, David. Speed kills, and that's the one thing that Flores has brought. He said, I want guys that can run and run fast. And you saw a little bit of it Thursday night where you saw linebackers blitzing the gaps. You saw Harrison Smith blitzing the gaps. And that's how this defense is going to have to get pressure. Yes, they did bring back Danielle Hunter. Thank you. But other than that, what do you got on that defensive line? We just lost Lynch to an ACL injury, unfortunately, on Thursday night. Now, Lynch was going to be a solid rotational guy. He wasn't, Dexter Lawrence or Aaron Donald, and he wasn't Linval Joseph in his prime, but he was a solid rotational piece. So we'll see if the Vikings scour the free agent wire. No, I do not want Metawakiton Sue. I didn't want him before. I sure don't want him now. Linval Joseph, somebody asked me earlier. I said, well, maybe on a veteran's minimum I could listen to it, but if he's looking for any sort of money, then absolutely not. But I agree, Joker, just be an average defense. Now, if you're an average defense with this offense, I think you can get to the divisional round, maybe the conference championship game. And I think average is about what is a reasonable expectation. That's like your stretch goal. You can't expect Flores to come in, take the 31st ranked defense and make him a top 10 defense. I think realistic expectations of what's reasonable is to try to get them to be around 18 to 22 is my range. You get to top 15, which is about what average, that's a stretch, and that would be a miracle worker job. That would be yeoman's work to get the 31st up to the 15th, to jump up half the league. But let's just be halfway decent. You know what? This defense is going to get stops. It's going to get sacks. It's going to bring pressure. It's going to be aggressive. And there are going to be times where that aggression is going to bite us in the rear end where, we give up big chunk plays. Well, we were giving up big chunk plays being conservative. If we're going to give up big chunk plays, at least go down swinging. If you're going to strike out, don't watch the ball go down the middle of the plate. Swing at it. If you miss it, you miss it. If we're going to be aggressive, we're going to take people out defensively, and we get burned sometimes, okay. Give the ball back to the offense and let the offense go back to work. And okay, so Rap is out and Yogi's Rap. So now I'm just holding it down here. See, this is what happens when you get to they make a call to the bullpen. It's like, hey, guess what? Rap's going to do this and Yogi's going to do that. Anybody step up? Okay, I'll sit in for a minute or two. I'll step in. So how many people we got up in here right now? Let's take a look. I lost it. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? See, this is where I'm a little out of my element because normally I have controls of the chat and I can do and see other things. And I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. All right, so we got about 10 people in the building right now. All right, that's cool. That is cool. Anybody throw something in the chat you want me to talk about here. Give me a subject. Give me a topic. I got a video dropping later on this evening. Just my 3 takeaways from the Thursday practice. I know Rap said he's got a video about Ivan Pace. Exclusively that he said he's going to drop later on this afternoon. So if you don't already, most of the people up in here already do subscribe to us both, but be on the lookout for that. Hit the like buttons and hit the comments as well. All right, come on, y'all throw me a life raft. Give me a topic. Give me something. I know you got something you want me to ask. There's something you want to ask me. This is what happens when you're not prepared. But don't tell anybody I said that. All right, offensively. What about moving Scene to linebacker? All right, good question. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. I guess I'm not opposed to the idea because we just got done talking about earlier that our linebacking core is by far the biggest. We got weaknesses everywhere on the defense. The defensive line has got Danielle Hunter and a bunch of guys. The secondary's got Byron Murphy Jr., and it has Harrison Smith, and it's got a bunch of guys that all have a lot of question marks. The linebacker has got Awesome One, and we're hoping on Ivan Pace. Okay. So, yeah, if Lewis Cine can't crack the safety room and he can be molded into a linebacker, I could listen to that. Absolutely. I absolutely could listen to that. How feasible is that? I don't know. That part I don't know. I never coached defense, not in the NFL, and certainly not at any kind of level that would be able to give an honest opinion on that. But yeah, sure. I mean, heck, we moved Robert Tate, a wide receiver, to a defensive back in 1999. So if a wide receiver can be a DB, maybe a DB can be a linebacker because, you got a lot of safeties that drop down into the box now anyway. So I don't know that he could be a linebacker proper per se, like on base defense where he's the Sam linebacker or the Mike linebacker. No, definitely not Mike. The Will or the Sam. But I don't know. Maybe in a pinch, maybe that is a decent role that you could slide him into here or there. No, that's a good point, Bob. I hadn't thought about that. How many yards and touchdowns this year for Jordan Addison? All right, I set the over-under yardage for Jordan Addison at 850, and I say under. Touchdowns, I figure he's going to get at least 7. I'm going to say at least 7. In 17 games, Jordan Addison will get in the end zone at least 7 times. Yardage wise, I'm not expecting Jordan Addison to get 1,000. Like I said, I'm gonna take under 850, and I'll say why. You got Justin Jefferson. We all know that. We got TJ Hawkinson. And again, KJ Osborne is not just going to step aside and let Jordan Addison take the number 2 spot. Now, yes, Jordan Addison, he looks the part. He absolutely looks the part. And if this were a team where, like when the Detroit Lions drafted Calvin Johnson and when the Cardinals drafted Larry Fitzgerald, they drafted them to be their number 1 wide receiver. We're not doing that with Jordan Addison. We're not even drafting him to be the number 2 wide receiver this year. Next year, yeah, probably. But right now, you have got a solid number 2 wide receiver in KJ Osborne, one that Kirk Cousins has trust with. And yes, Kirk is going to be throwing the ball to KJ Osborne every bit as much as he does Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson and everybody else. And TJ Hawkinson, hey, this is probably going to be his last year here. And I say that in the context of if he balls out and has a great year, somebody's going to sign him to be their number 1 wide receiver. And good for him. And if he doesn't ball out, well, then why would we want to keep him? He's going to price himself out of the Vikings range soon enough with a good season. And why I don't mind it all that much, or why I'm not really all that concerned about it, Kevin O'Connell runs enough 3 wide receiver sets where Justin's going to be able to be on the field 95% of the time. And whichever one of them, KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, whichever regard, there's going to be minimal distinction between who's the number 2 and who's the number 3 because they're all going to be on the field quite a bit. And what I love about this core, and I sneak preview, spoiler alert to the video that I got coming out later today, they can all run multiple positions out of the wide receiver. They can all play X, Y, and Z. And that's what Kevin O'Connell wants his offense to be is, okay, we can't just focus on Justin Jefferson playing this type of wide receiver slot or this type of wide receiver position. So, but I still feel that between Jefferson, Hawkinson, Osborne, I'll say under 850 yardage wise for Jordan Addison, but 7 touchdowns minimum. I'm gonna say it like that: 7 touchdowns minimum. Why they keep bringing offensive tackles and trying them at guard, I don't know. Worthless. That was a Rick Spillman, Mike Zimmer thing. I honestly don't know. I don't know if there's just some kryptonite with Kirk Cousins being able to have adequate guard play put in front of him, whether that's his organizations haven't been able to find him any, or some parts of his statuesque play make it difficult. I don't know. I think by the time you've built out your team the way it is, you got to cut corners somewhere, and guard has been where this team has cut the corner the most. And you know, with the salary cap implications they've had over the last 5 years, that's all they can do. You can't just draft somebody and start with. You saw what happened with Ed Ingram when you draft a guard and just throw him right in. That's what happens. You don't have enough money to afford a Pro Bowl guard. So they're trying everything they can. I honestly don't. Bobby Evans' release, that was smart, but why didn't we solve Dalton Risner? Well, spoiler alert, part 2. Dalton Risner, I don't know. I really wanted them to sign him. I really wanted to solidify the middle of the offensive line and have a little competition at the guard position. Either A, they did a physical and he's got some injury issues, perhaps. B, maybe he's asking for like $9 million. I don't know. C, maybe he wants to be guaranteed a starting role. I don't know. D, maybe he comes off with the Matt Khalil vibes where he looked good for 1 year and then the next 3 years on his rookie contract, he was solid. He was so solid. He's a very good pass blocker, but he's an okay run blocker. So I don't know, a conglomeration of both. I mean, it would seem, again, there's a reason why he's still a free agent. I mean, he's the best guard available. Why in the world is he still out there? There's got to be something. And the Vikings aren't going to come out and say, well, we looked at Dalton Risner and he's got a bum knee, so that's why we didn't sign him. You're not going to torpedo a guy's ability to get another job somewhere. And they're not going to say, well, we wanted Dalton Risner, but he wanted, all of the money we had left and we weren't going to give it to him. We offered him a contract and he said no to it because he wanted more money. The Vikings ain't going to tell us. So we're never going to know. We're never going to know. Everyone is crowning the Lions division winner. It's ridiculous. It's funny how they get the benefit of the doubt with no history sport. Yeah, there's some truth to that. You know what? Let the Lions get all the hype. That's fine. I ain't worried about it. Let them get all the hype and let them fall flat on their face. Number one for that. Number two, once we start having expectations is when we start to fall flat. When we have no expectations on us, we do better. And when we have expectations on us, we do worse. So I'm okay with not having the expectation. It's hilarious that people are ready to crown Justin Fields the best quarterback in the division right now. I think it's hilarious that they're going to say the Lions are absolutely hands down going to win this division. Yeah, is it possible the Lions win this division? Sure, it's possible. I'm not going to say it's a done deal that the Vikings are going to win it. I think they do. But to say that it's the Lions' division to lose, get out of here with that mess. The Lions are way in your head. They're just a little brother in the division and always will be. Shout out Dave Ditter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Meanwhile, we're just going to suck because, 11 close win. Yeah. No, it's absolutely asinine. I agree. In order for the season to be truly successful, we need to be more durable and stay healthy, and good luck with that. Well, there's a point to that too, Davey. Change. You spot on. You spot on. Over 50% of the tackles are drafted to play guard in the NFL, but Ezra was drafted to play tackle originally. Really? Okay. Either way, that's the only concern I have offensively. And that's the only concern we should have offensively, is the interior of that offensive line. What other that's the only weakness this offense has. I'm going to save a little bit for the material for the video that's coming out later, so check it out later, ladies and gentlemen. But realistically, what other weakness is there on this offense besides the interior O-line? None. Absolutely none. This offense, I'm not going to call it 98, and I'm not going to call it 2009. People are already trying to say 98 and 09 with this offense. Slow down. Slow down. I remember last year when I was arguing with Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk about how he made a comment early in the year last year that last year's offense could rival 98 and 09. And at the end of the year, he was trying to give me all these stats about yards per game and how many points were scored and this, that, whatever. I'm like, you do realize that the 2022 Vikings did play 17 games, and the 2009 Vikings only played 16. So I want to hear about how they were only a couple hundred yards less. They played an extra game, Dave. I'm just saying, no. What we saw last year was not in the same atmosphere as 98 and 09. Hopefully this year, I'll be happy if this year's offense is in the same atmosphere. I'll be utterly dismayed and shocked if they somehow are better than 98 or even 09. But no, not quite there. But anything less than top 10 by any standard measurement for this offense absolutely has to go. Has to be top 10 by every measurement. Otherwise, what do we do all this for? What's all this talk about 3 wide receivers a lot, and now we got a guy to replace Adam Thielen who was on his last leg. Okay, all right, okay. Got this tight end who was brought in the middle of the season. Now he went through the whole offseason program and had a training camp with us, all this stuff. Got Kirk Cousins in a contract year, and he plays great in contract years, and he doesn't let his contract up. Okay, you cannot be anything less than top 10, particularly with this defense. We're just hoping this defense is okay. We're just hoping this defense is average. Okay, nothing short of top 10. Nothing. Yes, Ezra was originally drafted to play. I thought you meant Ingram. I'm sorry. I'm a little off my game right now, Dave. But yes, he was originally drafted to play tackle. He was originally slated to take over left tackle for Riley Reif. And then they had to put him in at guard. And all of a sudden, oh, hey, he's a halfway decent guard. Yeah, halfway decent, apparently, is all we care about. Yeah, he was, Bob. You're right. He was a good tackle at Boise. It is kind of unfortunate for him that he kind of got stuck at that. And he won't be here next year either. He won't be here next year because he's going to want to play tackle. He's going to want to get paid like a tackle. So, yeah, this will be Ezra last year. Well, remember, Reisner is the one who got into a shoving match with Sierra's husband. Don't you mean unlimited? No, I'm unlimited. Yeah, that guy. Is it possible Reisner has off the field issue? Possibly. I heard Reisner didn't get a contract, but he wanted to guarantee he's a starter. Yeah, that was one of the things we said earlier, Sarah. And shout out to Dave from First and Scold. He put me onto that. I mean, again, I'd had the same suspicions, but no. So we'll see. At the end of it, for me, if they don't sign him by the end of this weekend, then I'm kind of out on him because I want him in the building and I want him practicing with our guys. I don't want him to be coming in the week before the regular season and then trying to get acclimated with the guys. You don't play with the Vikings? You want to be on our squad? Get on our squad. Meet your teammates. Bond with your teammates. Get to know your brothers. I don't want you to be coming in at the last minute, be like, okay, let's go. Like, you weren't here during the off-season workouts. You weren't here during training camp, but now you want to just pretend like you one of us, like you've been here the whole time? No. Dave, I thought about it, but I don't have control, so I'll have to put Yogi out. I'll have to put a message to rapper Yogi to put you in because I'm just guest right now. So give me a minute or two. I guarantee that Ezra got to go. Yep. 98 was the original greatest show on turf. Yes, Sarah, you are correct. I agree with you, Worthless. I don't know. I give anyone a guaranteed starter position. You got to earn that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you see that Jordan Addison is a dude with getting 2 touchdowns every day, and he might get 2 touchdowns one day for every single games of the season because he just beat Jay Ward? Wow, yeah, beating Jay Ward is a little different than actual games. But you know what? Y'all chill for a second here. I'm gonna text Yogi. Hey, can I bring Dave on? You will need to add him. Dave, I'm going to send you the link, but Yogi will have to add you. If I can find the link, what do I do with it? Yes, I know, y'all. Riveting content right now. This is what happens when you get called up real quick. Oh yeah, it's over here. I don't think it'll let me add you, so you can try and get in. Nikki, I love this one. Shout out Nikki, by the way. Nikki is like the ultra optimist, and I love it. But the realist in me, obviously, everything we see in practice, as Allen Iverson jointly coined, we're talking about practice. Yes, as I said at the beginning, Jordan Addison looks the part. I am going to be ecstatic that we got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison together for many years to come. No slight to KJ. Y'all know I love KJ, and I'm looking forward to his season. I'm just preparing for the inevitable eventuality that he'll probably outprice himself after this season, and that's the business. But yeah, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, yeah. I don't think he's going to be scoring 34 touchdowns there. Or Nikki, excuse me. What's more likely, Vikings win the Super Bowl or Justin Fields throw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns? Boy, oh, I got better odds winning a Powerball than banging millions. I tell you that, Sarah. I don't know. I think, well, by definition, I have to say Justin Fields, just because, a team winning a Super Bowl versus a quarterback having one season of 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in this pass happy league. But I'll say this about Justin Fields. 2 things. 1, right now, he's being overhyped. Everybody talking about Justin Fields like he's the king of the North. Nah, he ain't the king of the North. He's barely a prince. But I will say this, and I've said this before. I think Justin Fields has not been properly utilized. People who already want to say Justin Fields is a bust and just get rid of him. No, I would take Justin Fields on this team, take over for Kirk next year. Yes, you put Justin Fields with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and Kevin O'Connell, he would be a lot more than what he's been. He has had no good head coach. He's had no good coaching. He's had very little weapons around him. He's been in Chicago, which is the death knell for quarterbacks. I mean, Chicago has never had a good quarterback for any sustained period of time. Their best quarterback for any sustained period of time in my lifetime is Jay Cutler. They got to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman because their defense was so good. So I'm not ready to throw dirt on the grave of Justin Fields just yet. Now, does that mean that I'm buying all the hype that they're selling? No, I'm buying about a third of that hype. I've always said I wanted the Vikings to trade up to get Justin Fields last year. Absolutely. I'd take that dude, put that dude with Kevin O'Connell, see what happens. And, oh, yeah, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. But So yes, I think the possibility. What's more likely? Well, it's got to be that, but they're both a stretch at the moment. Dave texted me back here. 17-0, Bob. There you go. Okay, Nikki. I wish I could put that comment up. All right. I know you're in the green room, Dave. Let me text Rap, see if Rap can get in and toss you in. Can you toss Dave into the stream for me, please? All right, Nikki. I don't know if you subscribe to me. I hope you do. And if you don't, hit the subscribe button. And I say this lovingly as a Skull sister from a Skull brother. You're out your mind. You're out your mind. If Jordan Addison got 135 catches for 1,876 yards and 15 touchdowns and breaks Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase's record, you want to know why? There's only one scenario where that happens. That scenario is Justin Jefferson is not playing for the entire season. That's the only way that happens. There is no way that happens if Justin Jefferson's playing. There's no way. So, with all due respect, I don't want Jordan Addison to have those kinds of stats because that means Justin Jefferson was not on the field. There's no way he does that. Sorry. Yes, Bob, I love it. 17-0, 17-0. You know what, y'all? I'm going to call Rap. You know what? I know he's doing this thing with his daughter, and we kind of got our signals crossed and everything else, but I'm just going to call him real quick. So y'all going to stand by for a minute. Stand by for a minute. Come on, Rap. I guess I have to call Yogi. Where Yogi's number at? All right. All right, Dave, chill for a while. I left them both texts and I left them both messages. Dave is in the back room. He's, one relief pitcher to another relief pitcher. Okay. So Nikki's got Justin Jefferson down for 145 catches and Jordan Addison down for 135. By my math, that's 280 catches. I'm pretty sure no duel. Yes, thank you, Dave. Riveting content. Yes, thank you. All right, Nikki. I love the enthusiasm. And you know what? I would love to be wrong. I would love to be doing a show at the end of the year where we have you on the show where one or both of those things happen and you get to say you were right. But let's they blocked me. Yeah, they probably Bob said they probably blocked you. Yeah, they probably did. Yeah, no, they didn't. Rap is out with his wife and his daughter at a water park today, and I don't know where Yogi's at. Maybe Yogi's already been sequestered by security for trying to take live pictures at the practice. You know how O'Connell get. Mateo said, "Nikki, stay off the wee." What's more likely? Justin Jefferson gets 2,000 yards or Russell Wilson bounces back? Honestly, Russell Wilson. If I'm being realistic, if I'm being honest, I think Russell Wilson still has something left. I really do. I think last year, I know his last year in Seattle was garbage too, but he was injured. Last year with Nathaniel Hackett was a terrible, terrible choice for Denver Broncos. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say what Sean Payton did and all that nonsense. Like, dude, why are you throwing one of your fellow coaches under the bus like that? But Nathaniel Hackett was an absolute hack job, and he should have never been given that head coaching job. And Denver gave him that because Denver was trying to get Rodgers from the Packers last year. Nathaniel Hackett was a terrible head coach, and he just did not mess well. Now, Russell Wilson's got his own issues, like he's Mr. Unlimited. No, I'm unlimited, unlimitedly bad last year. I think Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are really going to have a resurgence. I'm not saying that he's going to be an MVP for the Broncos this year, but at the same time, I think that I think Russell Wilson will have a bounce back year. I really do, and I've been saying that all summer. So I think that is a little bit more. Now, if you said what's more likely, JJ gets 1,600 again for the 1,600, I would say JJ at 1,600, but 2,000, no, that's a lot. That's a lot. What's up, Viking Gaming? Good to see you. I can't put the chats up today because I'm just a guest host, and both the hosts have left me to carry the water right now. So, but I will still do the shout outs. But good to see you. Thanks for joining us. If y'all already, if you're watching, you just found us here. This is the first time you've been on Purple Rain 247. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also subscribe to Vikings First and Scold. That's Dave, Tyler, and Darren's channel that I contribute to. I contribute to their podcast feed once in a blue moon. If Dave needs a life raft, I'll come and help him out. I'm going to be joining them for their post-game shows right at the 2-minute warning for select games, depending on my schedule. Subscribe to Purple and Gold for days. That's me. I'll have a video dropping later on this evening. I go live on my channel 8 o'clock Central on Mondays, 6:30 Central on Tuesdays. I have a live pregame show at 11, and Rap and I will be doing a live postgame show at 8 p.m. Central, all this Central time on game days as well, except for obviously Monday nights and Thursday nights. But you get the bit. Having said that, that's crazy. I can't believe it. KOC was a candidate for the Denver job too. Yeah, that's right. He was. Glad we got him. All right, I'll put this as a poll, even though I can't put it as a poll. I'll just do a verbal poll. Who here is happy they got KOC? Who would have rather still? Who here still wishes we would have got Jim Harbaugh? Is there anybody left that's not happy that we didn't get Jim Harbaugh? Because I had some people say that to me the other day. It's like, yeah, 13-4 was great and whatever else, but I would have still rather had Harbaugh. I'm like, why? Well, because we would have been doing the teardown last year instead of keeping it simple. I said, that's on the owners. That's not on Kwesi, and that's not on O'Connell. That is on the owners. But remember, Hackett didn't even want to talk to the Vikings. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't want to talk to us. We don't need you. We didn't need you. Okay. Nathaniel Hackett was a product of Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Now, Mike McCarthy was not the same. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers needed each other, and they helped each other out. Nathaniel Hackett didn't do anything. Rodgers was already established as a Hall of Fame quarterback. He didn't do anything. Remember Hackett. Also, yeah, if JJ gets 2,000 yards, that means Addison. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. People say, hey, can JJ get 2,000? I don't want JJ to get 2,000. That means I don't want him to, but that means we're relying too much on him. This ain't Madden where you can have 4,000-yard receivers and 4 double-digit touchdown receivers. This ain't Madden where, oh, look at that. This guy's got 100 yards this game and a touchdown. Okay, now I'm going to throw to this other guy so I can say I had 3 different 100-yard receivers. It don't work that way in real life. If JJ's got 2,000 yards, then that means Madison or Osborne or Hawkinson ain't doing much. But I agree. That's a good point, Mateo. If JJ gets 2,000, that means Addison has become Treadwell. Boy, ain't none of these boys trying to hit me up right now. Ain't that funny. I'm going to try Yogi one more time, yo. I just need to get in. Yogi, can you log into the stream and add Dave to the stream for me? He's he's in the green room right now, but I can't add him. Can you add him for me real quick? Appreciate you. All right, Dave. I'll save your comment for when you get in here. What's more likely, Jordan Love win the division or Rodgers win the Super Bowl? Rodgers. Absolutely. Rodgers. Not even close. Not even close. Jordan Love's terrible. I was watching that Lion show you put us on, Sarah, and that Packard fan was going on about Jordan Love this and about how the Packers defense is going to be top 5 and just saying, Jordan Love. I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. No. So, no, definitely more likely that the Jets win the Super Bowl with Rodgers, then Jordan Love wins the division, and that's not even close. I think the Packers are going to probably be. Well, obviously they're going to be third. Vikings and Detroit will be 1-2. Yeah, the Packers are going to be fighting with the Bears. Jordan Love's not even going to stick the playoffs. Not this year, Viking Gaming. Not this year. Maybe if he develops, but it's certainly not going to be any kind of any playoffs for the Packers this year. That dude said he thought the Packers could win 7 or 8 games and be like just missing the playoffs. Like, okay, I got the Packers winning 6 or less. But at the end of the day, is anyone going to be at the practice Tuesday? I know Nikki said she was, Viking Gaming. Nikki said she was. Dave, are you still in the studio? Because Yogi said he was going to log. He said he was going to try and put you in. The fact that maybe left, I don't know. All right, y'all. I need a little sip here. You still in the green room? What are your thoughts on Booth Jr.? Well, okay, yeah, I said it earlier, gaming, but yeah, we can rehash that one a little bit. Andrew Booth Jr. Hold up, you're calling me right now. Hold up, man, I'll get to you. Yo, what's up? No. Did you go? How did you go in? Did you go in through where you logged in, or did you go in to a link? No, you can't. No, you got to go. You got to log in because you click that link. That's just a guest link. That's why. Okay, bye. All right, Yogi's figuring out how we do the StreamYard thing. He's like, hey, I clicked on that link. I can't get in either. I'm like, yeah, that's the guest link. But anyway, send a StreamYard out. Yeah. Dave, I was going to say, I thought about doing that earlier, about maybe, having some of you guys come on as guests just to give a take here or there. But the problem is I don't have admin access on Yogi's account. Only Rap and Yogi do. So even if I sent you the guest link, you'd just be sitting in the green room like Dave is, unless one of those guys added. That's the only reason why. Because I would have actually invited and say, hey, anybody want to come on for about 3 minutes? But like I said, we'll get it figured out next time. We give me admin access. But Booth Jr., I'm done with Booth Jr. I'm done with him. And I say that politely. I say that in the context of I wish him nothing but the best. He's a member of my football team. I want him to do well. But my expectations is I expect nothing from Booth Jr. anymore. And if I get something out of Andrew Booth Jr., it is what I call found money. I know some of you heard me say that line about 4 times now. I can't put any reasonable expectation of him staying healthy anymore because I will just be disappointed. So whatever we get out of him is what we get out of him. Okay? I'm sorry. It's like Irv Smith. At some point, you can't stay healthy, Irv. You got to go. I'm not saying get rid of Booth Jr. I ain't saying it like that. I'm just saying my expectations for him are that he's not going to be a factor because he's always getting hurt. He's always getting hurt. Packers and Lions are putting too much stock into rookie tight ends. Yeah, that's true too. No, that's very true. Eric, what's up? Shout out Eric in the building. Skull from New Mexico. What's going on? Say hello to Rinda for us. Good to have you here. I apologize again, and I know y'all still chilling, and that's all well and good. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. I know we got 12 people in the building right now. Just listen to me ramble here. Kind of threw it together here last minute, and Rap had to go. He had to kick off the show, but he's at the park with his daughter, and it was kind of one of those last minute things, so I wasn't as totally prepared, and so I'm just kind of chilling with you guys. That's okay though. We can chill. I wish he would stay healthy because he's an aggressive player. I feel like he could do well in Flores' scheme, but he can't stay healthy. No, gaming, I'm with you. I mean, when they drafted him in the second round, I said, "Oh wow, look, a lot of injury concerns. I guess that's why he fell." And okay, worth a flyer at that spot. And sometimes flyers in that spot work out great, and sometimes they don't. You took a flyer on Stephon Diggs, worked out until it didn't because of his attitude, but whatever. Took a flyer on Booth Jr. And maybe there'll be some found money there later. And I agree with you. He's exactly what Flores wants. He's exactly what Flores wants. But it's unfortunate that the guy can't stay healthy. What's going to sit longer in the green room? This is why we have Mateo as part of this circle. What's up, Skull for Life? Shout out Skull for Life. Mateo, again, if I had a prize, that's the line of the day. That is the line of the day. He said, what's going to sit longer in the green room, Dave or Brady Quinn? And Sarah said Brady Quinn. Yeah, Yogi's trying to figure it out. I said, Yogi, just get in like you coming in to just hop back on and then add him and then go back if you want. Skull Farinda says, Skull, Mr. Just. I appreciate you, Eric. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Stream this to you. No, I don't want to stream this to my own. No, why are you talking about? No. I'm not doing that. I'm so out of sorts right now. Skull, everybody can't stay long. Wait, you know what? It's always good when you drop in, Skull for Life. It's always good when you drop in. Hey, I'll be dropping a video later today, so check it out later. All y'all check it out later. Tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Time on Vikings First and Skull with 2 old bloggers. Hopefully Darren will be back. If I can ever get Rap or Yogi to add Dave, he can tell us what he's got coming up on 2 old bloggers. But hey, who in here don't subscribe to First and Skull? Vikings First and Skull. I'm gonna put that in the chat. I'm gonna put that one in the chat, and I'm gonna say y'all better go over and subscribe to that one here. Because that's my guy, Brother Dave. That's all our guys. You know what? He has inspired me. He has inspired Rap. He's been doing this for years. They just got their new channel, and they're killing it over there. And they said, you know what, Justin, we kind of like you. Why don't you come join us for a little bit? I said, okay, you know that. I'm going to put his in the chat right now. If y'all don't subscribe to this channel, y'all better tell me why. Yes, Darren will be back. All right. He said, yes, Darren will be back. Vikings First and Skull. Hit up my brothers, Tyler, Dave, and Darren. Not for – okay, now we're refreshed. There it goes. All right, so tomorrow, 4 o'clock Central Time, 2 old bloggers. Again, 2 – oh, is that some noise I hear? Yogi! Do you see Dave in the green room? Click on guest. Hey! All right, Yogi, you want to stay on for a minute or?
So I can literally not see anything on my phone. I'm like trying to figure it out in the shadow.
How's the crowd?
And my brightness is all the way up, and it's like pitch dark.
Oh, really? Well, tell us about the crowd situation. How many people you got up in there, do you think? How's the crowd?
A lot of people. I think that the defense is finally on my side, so I'll try to flip the camera.
Okay.
We'll try to figure that out now.
All right. Well, while he's figuring it out, Brother Dave, thank you. I needed a life preserver. Thanks for joining me, my man.
Well, I was sitting there. I was just working on the thumbnail for tomorrow's show, and you were talking, trying to go on. It's rough when you got to sit there and tap dance for a while and talk about things that we care about. So
yeah. It's also tough when it was about a half an hour before I sat down. Hey, you know what? Rap forgot he had this, and Yogi can't run it from there. And I'm like, I don't have access to Yogi's. I'll just be a guest, and I'll just yap for a little bit. That's fine. But, it's one of those things like on Monday nights where I'm planning to do an hour show on my channel by myself. It's like, okay, I got these topics I'm going to hit. So thank you for throwing me a little life raft. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to see everybody in the remarks.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
it's a Saturday afternoon, right? I'm working, but everybody else is probably, they could be out at the lake, they could be at practice, they could be wherever, but they'd rather be here listening to Vikings football talk.
There you
And
go.
why not?
Absolutely.
Grab two. They got 'em.
All right, Yogi. So he's in the end zone spot. Okay. All right.
Yep,
He's
at the
right
end of
behind
the field.
Okay. So Yogi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So who's made some plays so far? Give us some analysis. Give us that play-by-play breakdown.
They're just doing one-on-one drills right now, or just positional drills.
All right. So Nikki wants to know if Jordan Addison has scored 2 touchdowns or 3 so far. I'm
Two.
2? Of course. There you go. All right, brother. Well, when they get back to the real stuff, hop back in or whenever you want, or if you just want to mute, whatever you want to do, because I don't want you to get in trouble for just videoing one-on-ones. If you're going to get in trouble, at least doing a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. You know
Right.
At least do it for some good stuff. So you hang out back and you all come back whenever you want.
Tyler's out there somewhere.
I thought
Yeah,
I was just about to ask
I
you.
saw him walk by.
Say what?
I saw him walk by.
Oh, did you? Sweet.
He's hard not to miss. I mean,
Well,
he's a
that's true.
big man.
Well, I'm assuming it's him, but I've never met him in person.
No, he's about the size of a guard.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's
he's always sitting down. I know he's got the locks. I recognize him with the locks.
He's I think 6'3" ish, somewhere in there, and he's up there in weight. So
I didn't know he was that tall.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, he's a big Norwegian. Mateo's at work. Hey, Mateo, I'm glad you get to watch us while you're at work.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Twitter Spaces. Oh, okay, Mateo. All right. Yeah, Spielman had a few here. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Spielman, but 8 days in a row. What kind of work you do, Mateo? What kind of job you got? You working 8 days in a row? Are you in the nursing field or something? Where you got scheduled 8 days? That's crazy. Tell us what you do, Mateo, or whatever it is you feel to disclose. When you go to training camp,
more than that.
Oh, that too. When you go to training practices, our seats first come, first serve. Well, there's one section that is general admission, so you just sit wherever. There's another section where you have to pay. I think it's an extra $10 to sit in, but it's got the canopy, and I think you've got some designated seating there. But by and large, general admission to get into the building, it's just first come, first serve. So right now they're in the back section of TCO Stadium, which is where all of the multiple practice fields are. The differences from Thursday night and what's coming up Tuesday night is there's TCO Stadium, which is an actual souped up high school stadium, and a couple of high school stadiums and even some Division III football games actually get played out of that. So the night practices are in TCO Stadium. This is the back section, the back 40, as they say, where they've got, I think, a dozen football fields so that you can have different sections or different parts of the team on different fields. Yeah, a half dozen. Thank you.
Full-sized football fields.
Yeah,
and they usually have at least 4 or 5 in full activation and 1 resting, just like golf courses where they'll rest certain areas of the grass to take care of them. It's a great setup.
Oh, it's incredible.
The Wilfs did a fantastic job. They got the right people for designing it, not only architectural wise for the building, but landscape architecturally wise, and hired, obviously, I think it was one of the best groundskeepers back when they were over in Winter Park and taking over from the car dealer to turn that thing into shape. And I think they've kept them. And this is literally one of the premier facilities in all of the NFL.
Absolutely. No, they spared no expense putting TCO together. We can have our opinions about how they run the team and, how they always want to be competitive and never want to take a step back. That's a different conversation than they put in every time. No tax dollars went to that. That was out of their pocket.
That's all Ziggy.
That's all Ziggy, Mark, and whoever the
and
is.
Whoever their investors are. And I'm sure they have investors.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It costs multi hundreds of millions of dollars to build stuff like that. And they've got, the Omni Hotel, and you've got the
Vikings
apartments
Lakes.
going up and business spots, and it's all there. And they're great at it. And it's fantastic. Hey, if you have the money and the means and those apartments get done and you're on the 3rd floor, you'll be able to look down and watch.
Absolutely. If
I want one.
I want one. I want one to where I can just, have that as kind of my timeshare. That's what we should do. We should get a timeshare out of one of those apartments so that,
we come up for games.
Come up for games and
watch
stay the night before.
right now.
Mm-hmm. There you go. But I mean, even I guess we'll talk about it. The campus itself, as soon as you walk in, you've got the stadium on the right and you've got the museum on the left. And the museum, and I said this in that podcast that I did for Vikings First and Skol. If you ever do get to training camp, now again, the museum, okay, yes, you have to schedule a time for it because they have scheduled viewings. And I think it costs like $10 to get into that. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. The museum is so beautiful. It has got, to model scale of U.S. Bank Stadium, and it's got a section right next to it where it remembers the Metrodome, and then another section where it remembers Old Met Stadium. And of course, it was funny. I had to tell my daughter this. They actually have an old turnstile from the old Mets and a turnstile from the old Metrodome. My daughter's like, isn't that like what they have at Menards when you walk in? Like, why do they have that? I'm like, stadiums used to have this at every door that you walked in. That's how they counted how many people.
Exactly.
They counted them that way. I'm like, yeah, we didn't have computers where you just scanned your ticket. You had to have a person at every one of these turnstiles take your ticket, rip it in half, and hand it back to you, and then they'd count them all up at the end of it. But just for that, just the remembrance of the old stadiums, there's a section for the Ring of Honor people. There's a section for the Hall of Famers, a section for the coaches. A dedicated section to the 98 and 2000 seasons, as well as the 4 seasons in the 60s and 70s where they went to the Super Bowl. It's just incredible. And that's just the museum. Okay. That's just the museum. In the promenade area, they have spots where you can do bean tosses, and for kids, you got a little thing where you throw the football to hit targets, and lots of games for the kids there. Obviously, stands for businesses. You've got your beer vendors, you've got your food vendors. They got 2 full-size concession stands. I don't mean mini concession stands. 2 full-size concession stands on both ends of the stadium, as well as little smaller stands like mini donuts or nachos, stuff like that.
I'm sure one of those concession stands is Vikings locker room.
Oh, and the Vikings locker. Oh, yes, the Vikings locker room is right off of the museum, so it's in the same building as the museum. It's right off. But yes, the Vikings locker room. I mean, again, I don't know where you go shopping for your Vikings gear. Here in Rochester and around the Twin Cities, we have a department store called Shields, which has a partnership with the Vikings.
I miss it.
The Vikings locker room. And there's also a smaller version of the Vikings locker room in Mall of America, but that's the Vikings locker room proper, where there's so much stuff in there, so much stuff you can burn some money through. So
yeah, I want one of those classic jerseys that came out.
Yes, I do.
I think that would be great. I just wish they'd allow it to be customizable.
I thought they did.
When they first came out, they weren't. I haven't looked since.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I want a number 40 with Kleinsasser on the back. Either that or I want a big man's number. Give me a tackle.
I thought you want one of the round bellies. I figured Randall McDaniel, Steve Hutchinson, Ron Yeri.
I would take any of those guys in a heartbeat.
I'm sure you would. That's what I'll get you for. I'll find one and see if I can get you. That'll be me and Tyler go in. Me, Tyler, and Dave go in for a Christmas gift for you. We'll get you one of the round bellies. So there you go.
No, but hey, when it comes to tight ends and when it comes to blocking, there was nothing like Jimmy Kleinsasser.
Oh, no.
He would destroy people. And you're thinking, well, yeah, Dave, you get some little DB that tries to rush from his side, he gets pancaked. That's nothing. All he had to do was blow or flick his fingers on that guy. No, we're talking defensive ends. We're talking, and not just linebackers, defensive ends, defensive tackles. He would blow them up. And his pancake blocks were a thing of beauty. It was just, his blocking ability was just unrivaled. And I remember Oliver is similar.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that, by the way.
I am too. because it means so much for the running game. Back when Jimmy played, we had a young Adrian Peterson, but God, it'd be nice. Or at the end, we had a young Adrian Peterson.
I remember, I think it was 2002, where we were playing the Bears. This is back when Urlacher was in his prime, okay? And he thought that he fooled Dante. And maybe he did fool Dante, because him and Dante always had that cat and mouse game. You know what I mean? And he was coming free on a blitz for Dante, and Dante either didn't see him or he ignored him because he knew he had Jimmy that had his back, and he just trucked Brian Urlacher to the ground. And Brian Urlacher got up like, where did you come from?
What train just hit me?
And I think Dante helped him up and just like, yeah, no, you didn't fool me. I had my guy over here. To your point, though, Jimmy Kleinsaucer was ridiculous. He was just a monster.
He was literally the epitome of Paul Bunyan. At just in football pads. That was Jimmy Kleinsaucer. My favorite player ever. And not because he was the greatest. It's just he was my favorite player. I watched him play at UND. He got drafted by the Vikings. I watched him play his whole career with the Vikings. Met him a couple times. He's just my favorite player.
I just put into the chat, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who, if you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days or Purple Pocket Podcast, and I did Vikings First and Skull already as well. Hey, hit up the channels. Y'all know the drill. We're just getting started here. It's still preseason. As you can tell, I'm in preseason form right now, ladies and gentlemen, but we got a lot going on. Why don't you talk about what we got? Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of preseason, part of tomorrow's Two Old Bloggers, right? We do 3 themes every week, 3 themes, right? First theme tomorrow's is training camp tidbits. So we're going to, it's sort of like, what do we call it? Our little hot bits. We're going to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, talk about pace, talk about, Addison, talk about this, talk about that. That's theme 1. Theme 2, we're looking at our 2024 spotlight for free agents. There, we're getting KJ Osborne. Right. I said a question earlier, what's it going to take for Cousins, Hunter, and Davenport to get re-signed next year? Another one is Osborne. Right? You and I both think if he's good enough, he's going to walk because he's going to get good money someplace else.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But what if the Vikings said, no, we want to keep you? We think you're better than Jarius Wright. We think you are our Jarius Wright version thereof, guaranteed to get first down. What if we want to keep him? How much is that going to cost? Right? Then the third theme, speaking of preseason, is we're going to look at the Vikings going into the game against Seattle. Normally, Two Old Bloggers does its pregame on Saturdays, right? In the regular season, you'll see a switch from Sunday at 4 to Saturday at 4, and we'll do the pregame show, and it's all pregame. But this week, we're going to do that third theme, and we're going to talk about what the Vikings are facing at Seattle. And we're not going to get deep into that because we don't know that much about Seattle other than they have some green highlighter colored uniforms. But no, we know a little bit more than that about Seattle. Right. But we're going to be talking about what can everybody expect to watch and see come Thursday night when we play Seattle. Because, we're not going to see Kirk Cousins. We'll see him on the sidelines, but we're not going to see him play.
Nope.
And
might not see him at all the entire preseason, by the way.
But who can we expect to see? What sort of competitions are we going to look at? I expect to see probably most of the defense on the field, right? Straight from the get-go, because they're learning that new defense. Now, how long Harrison Smith stays out there, that's a whole different question. But it's going to be a rocker of a game come Thursday night, and we don't care who wins or loses. We just want everybody to get there, play well, and get out healthy.
Exactly. There is nothing about the result of the game on the scoreboard that means a dang bit of anything.
Right.
Nothing. I know that Dennis Green prided himself on winning, and Mike Zimmer prided himself on winning meaningless games. Now I get, Yogi, put that back up.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it is. Lightning Kugels?
It's out of focus. What is that, Yogi?
Summer Shandy.
Line and Google.
Yeah, that's what I
Yep,
thought.
that's how you say it.
There you go.
good
Line and
beer.
Google. There you go. Hey, Yogi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You want to tap in with a word or two? I'm going to go refill my water. If not, that's fine too. But while you're just holding up, can you hit the mute button? Because we're picking up a little bit of background from people walking by. So obviously it's your show. You talk whenever you want. But while you're chilling, can you hit the mute for us?
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks. Dave, throw it down for about 2 minutes while I
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, I
Then we'll
refill my
take turns.
All right, there you go.
How warm is it out there, Yogi? Is it hot? Is it cool? How are the mosquitoes? It's one thing I don't really have to worry about too much here down in Texas. They have some mosquitoes, but it's nothing. There's no place like Minnesota and North Dakota for mosquitoes, possibly with the exception of Alaska. Mosquitoes are horrible up there. Not down here. I'm looking at a knee. Yogi, is it warm? What's the temperature like up there in Egan? He can't hear me. Anybody? Anyways, well, we can continue. My worthless opinion. Mike Morris used to talk about Morris. Mike Morris used to talk about Morris. Klein Saucer and Chris Hovan hanging out in Morris's basement, lifting weights until they vomit while listening to Metallica. Hey, that sounds like a great story, MWO. Absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't doubt it in the slightest either. Not in the slightest. Those guys were beasts. Nikki's saying, I don't really care about preseason games because they have to play all over, but all I care about is the regular season games. Yes, Nikki, for the most part, yes. What I do when I'm watching preseason games is that I'm looking at the players. I'm looking that the scheme works right. You know, I like to focus on the offensive defensive line. Are they looking like they're sound? They're all doing their blocking assignment, even if the blocking assignment's wrong. Like the Thursday night practice when you had the defense doing all the sorts of blitz and stuff, but did Bradbury call a coverage and did the offensive line do that coverage? It may be the wrong coverage, but did they do that coverage? That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for, do they do the right coverage? But then you start moving in people. Boom, boom, boom. You're out, Ingram, you're out. We're now putting in Jackie Chen or whoever goes in there. Or how those guys perform during a preseason game is what I'm looking for. How are they doing that? I suspect Jordan Addison will play at least a little bit come Thursday. So I'm going to look to see how he looks. I'm going to look to see how Tyler's man crush, Jaron Hall, looks, because Jaron Hall is going to get a ton of time. It's all those sorts of things I look for in preseason games. The scores mean nothing. Are the guys doing what they're supposed
Tyler
to do?
Tyler says hello.
Cool.
Hi, Dave.
Hey there, buddy. How you doing?
You're not stuck it.
How warm is it out there?
Well, there's sweat marks on my khaki shorts, so that's really all you need to know.
Oh, that's funny. We going to get a nice long report when you get home tonight?
Yes.
Good.
Sweet.
Outstanding. Something sounded exciting.
What happened? And
Nothing.
Yeah,
Justin.
Sarah, I had to get off the. Yeah, what's up? I'm
See,
back.
you've gone with my hairstyle.
I've always had the hairstyle. I've just never not worn the hat. So no, that's always where it's like, you know what? To heck with it. It was starting to get a little
warm,
whatever.
sweaty.
Yeah. Well, I guess I can figure out for you. Let's see what it was.
Well, I could
So
look it up. I could bring
you don't
up
have.
another app.
You said you don't have the mosquitoes down there, right?
Yeah, they're not. I mean, we have. There may be a handful that I see in a month. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not like a handful in 10 seconds, like in Minnesota.
Norpheus, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So, yes, for those just joining, which want to, let's just hit the reset button here. This is Purple Rain 247. This is Yogi's channel. Yogi is out at the Vikings practice facility, taking some pictures of that. As a matter of fact, Rap and I were going to do this here for a little bit until Rap remembered that he had a family function that he's going to today. He's taking his daughter to the water park. So they called me in the bullpen. And I called the bullpen's bullpen and said, "Hey, Dave, why don't you come help me out?" And Dave's like, "You want some help?" Yeah. And he said, "Hey, you want to come help me out?" And what's ironic about it is Yogi found Tyler from First and Gold, who's sitting right next to him, so that's even better. So you turn it into Yogi's channel, wondering why is Purple and Gold for Days, Vikings First and Gold, and Purple Pocket Podcast all running Yogi's channel. Well, that's why it is. Hit the like button if you don't auto subscribe to Purple Rain 247, Vikings First and Gold, Purple Pocket Podcast, or Purple and Gold for Days. Hit the subscribe buttons as well. All right, Yogi said he was going to take a break. Cool. Sarah said iced tea in the house. Yes, the old iced tea bit. There you go. All right, Dave, are you buying into that? Are you buying that?
What, iced tea?
Yeah. They say the joke on Rap's channel.
I can see the resemblance, but nah.
All right, thank you. The check's in the mail. Thank you for that. All right.
I got a question for Norpheus. What brand?
What did he say?
I said, what branch? I know Norpheus served. I'm just curious.
Oh, what branch? Yes, Norpheus. Tell us what branch.
I started out as 11 bang bang before I went active duty Air Force.
You know what? Thanks for bringing it up. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Davey Change. Shout out to Norpheus. And shout out to all the brave men and women who have served in our armed forces, our police, our firefighters, our EMS people, our frontline workers, doctors and nurses, for doing the jobs that let freedom reign and let us do and have the freedoms to just sit here and talk on YouTube about the Vikings practice and about the Viking season, as well as all the other freedoms. All right, Norpheus says...
he was an SP. I got you.
Okay.
We ran the same circles. He would guard the flight line that I would work on.
Okay, there you go. Did you remember what Davey Chain said was? Was he Air Force
Davey
too?
Chains he's Army, and he was a detective, what is equivalent to a civilian detective in the military police.
Okay.
He was an investigator.
Shout
on
out
the criminal side, criminal investigator, not intelligence. Each branch has their own security forces, doesn't matter which one it is.
Right.
And they have the criminal side, and then they have the intelligence side. And for the intelligence side, it doesn't mean they're smart. It just means they're going after, they're doing the spook stuff. They're looking for intelligence, who's spying, who's doing whatever. Things like that.
Shout out to Norpheus, who made that beautiful flag with Purple Pocket Podcast logo on it. I'm going to announce it here on Yogi's channel. I'm not even announcing this on my channel. Norpheus is going to hook me up with one for my
that's sweet.
For my logo as well. Some say Davey Chain says some say I'm criminal.
It is funny.
Mateo says, speaking of military, my little brother who is in the Navy gets on leave Monday and I get to go say, hey, shout out to Mateo's brother.
Cool.
Hey, shout out to Mateo, brother, for the Navy midshipman. By the way, Mateo, we joke and we argue, we laugh together, but from all of us in our Viking circle as YouTube content creators and the family, say hello and thank you to your little brother for all of his incredible work. Whatever he do, it don't matter what he does. I don't need to know the details or what kind of role your little brother is in. Say thank you because we all appreciate him.
Whether he's a cook or a submariner or whatever it is, tugboat operator, it doesn't matter. Believe it or not, across branches, and I worked with him after I did my active duty time. I did 5 years with the DOD, working with all the branches and a whole bunch of other Homeland Security stuff.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter what particular job you have. It all matters because they've all got to work together in one way or another. They've absolutely got to work together to make it succeed. And there's no difference on a football team. That's why I think Americans, one of the reasons why Americans love football so much is that it is a mirrored image, sort of, in a microcosm of how a society as a whole, as a military works, where you've got to get everybody contributing in their way, whatever that way is, right? It could be Ed Ingram absolutely blocking the heck out of a 3 technique. It could be Kirk Cousins, finding an open Justin Jefferson or throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson when it's 4th and 18. Doing that, right? That all matters. Down to Greg Joseph actually, making the kick so we don't lose the game. All that stuff matters. And in the military, it's the same way.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you're a cook, if you're in supply, whether you're in a med tech, right? And you run a X-ray machine in the base hospital, whatever it is, it all absolutely matters.
Right. No, you're talking about different units having different functions. Guess what?
And different people within the units having different functions.
Yeah. I mean, I remember this was many, many years ago. This was before I moved to Rochester, which was 2007. So I think this is like 2003. I was at a Chipotle, and after I came out the line, the whole back section had 24 men and women in uniform. And I don't remember. I think they were just Army Reserve. I don't mean just Army. I don't mean it like that. But so I stopped for a second, and I looked around, and I finally asked one. I said, "Who's in charge here?" And she said, "That woman right there." So I walked up to her, and I said, "Ma'am, I apologize for interrupting your lunch here. I just want to take 30 seconds of your time. I just want to say thank you for what you do, and if you could pass along to all the members of your unit here, because and remember, 2003, 2004." We were still reeling from 2001. We were still involved with that stuff over in Afghanistan.
I'm well aware.
You all know this, right? But and she's just like, "Yeah, we're just reserve guys. We're just on standby." I said, "I don't care. The fact that you were brave enough to sign up for that, you're brave enough to sign up for that. So if your number is called, just because your number ain't called yet, don't mean it's no big deal." I'm like, "It's a big deal." And I was like, "Hey, since this happened, if I see somebody in a uniform, police, fire, military of any kind, I just want to say, hey, thank you." And, it's funny. People always joke about the rivalries between the different branches. I'm like, that's good natured rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Like you watch these TV shows like Blue Bloods and the NYPD and the FDNY always got to be mad at each other. I'm like, you think the NYPD and the FDNY gave a damn about their rivalry on that day? No. And it's just good-natured fun. So to your point about it mirroring football or mirroring sports or mirroring society, you're absolutely right. All right, I got a couple comments. Let's get back to that. But thank you to everybody. I know that just went in a complete tangent there, but just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Eric from New Mexico says, "Do you believe KJ Osborne to be the number 2 wide receiver?" I believe he can. Yeah, I do, Eric. I've said this before.
At least to start.
To start, he will be. I mean, Jordan Addison fits the parts of if we didn't have a KJ Osborne and the next guy in line was the Jalen Naylor or the Jalen Rager, yeah, he would have stepped right in to the number 2 role. But KJ's not just going to step aside and be like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be the third guy." And no, he wants to earn his next contract. This is his contract year. So I definitely believe, and guess what, Kirk Cousins, he has a chemistry with KJ Osborne right now. So yes, he will absolutely be the number 2. I think in this day and age, it's a distinction without a difference. The number 2 wide receiver and the number 3 wide receiver in a Kevin O'Connell offense that's going to be running 3 wide receivers as much as we do. So I think it's not worth, oh, geez, is he the number 2 or is Addison the number 2? It's not going to matter all that much, but no, KJ Osborne is going to be a big part of this offense. Absolutely.
And what's great about our receivers is they play every position. Like you said before, X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be back in the days when you had wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, your 1 and 2 were generally your outside guys. Right. And then they'd bring in wide receiver 3 as a slot guy, your Z. Now it's whatever works best against the defense, where we're creating mismatches. And so if that means moving Jefferson to the Z position, Jefferson goes to the Z. That means, Osborne goes outside. That means Addison goes outside. It doesn't matter. It's going to be that way. Heck, throw TJ Hawkinson outside and then bring the other two and park them behind him, and get a 3 set to just confuse the crap out of the defense.
Right, the trips. Yep.
They're going to do that. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yes.
But I think especially in the beginning, I think officially on the depth chart, you're going to see Osborne as wide receiver 2. But I suspect Addison within 6 weeks or so, halfway through the season, that may flip, but it's not going to mean a whole lot.
No, it's not going to mean much. And like I said, in the video that I've just got to finish cutting editing that I'll release tonight, I'm going to get a little bit more in depth as that as well. Yes, Northview says you have a great background behind you. But real quick, before I get that, I want to get to Mateo's comment regarding his brother. Yeah, he's a damn Rams fan, but still so proud of him. He's been running with the Marines right now as the Navy medic, and the amount of damn evil dog comments he tells me. All right, there you go. Well, thank you again, Mateo. Thank you, brother, for all of us. We really do. All right, so your background. You got a whole lot of your artworks. Talk about your background that Northview has so brilliantly pointed out.
Well, I just cranked up my lights to hopefully make it a little better. 2. Let's see if I turn this a little bit. Crank this up. This is one of my pieces of artwork of Diggsy. And next to him, obviously, Adam Thielen.
Both are gone.
I know. Well, you think that's bad? The one behind my head right here.
It's Dalvin.
That's Dalvin Cook, number 33, Dalvin Cook. And then I got a whole bunch of, Jimmy Kleinsasser sits here.
Big boy Jimmy, we just got them
right
talking
there,
about.
Sits there. And then I've got a Drew and Ted mug and a mini helmet and all sorts of Vikings nose. One of my best art buddies, she hand carved this little piece.
Nice.
And
that is awesome.
And I think it's cool. His name is Halvar.
Okay.
And Halvar in Norse means guardian of the rock, i.e. the football.
There you go. Shout out In the Zone podcast. Good to see you, my brother. Thanks for joining us. Oh, side note, programming note, as long as we're talking about it. Tonight over on on Rap's channel, simulcasted on Yogi's channel, this channel here. We've got, what do they call the show? I forget what they call it. They got the 7 o'clock Central Time. I'm going to look this up here, but let me get back to my...
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can tell you that I have the notifications turned on specifically for it.
There you go. Man, I'm tripping.
I hope to get there tonight. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I get busy with working on artwork or show prep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I do keep busy.
Well,
we have and for
there's a reason you're producer Dave.
And for those that are watching, we have a couple more articles coming out on FFSN that have already come out. So if you haven't been there since yesterday, go over and hop in there and check it out. We've got more coming up. We've already approved. We've got them scheduled. There'll be one come out tomorrow, more than one. I think we got about 3. But the young writers are coming. They're starting to produce, and it's starting to come in. So it's a good deal. Right now, we're getting a lot of interesting stuff. There's one story that's coming talking about Greg Joseph, right? And I saw a question about the kicking.
I was just going to say there was a question in there earlier. That's right. I can't get it on this. I keep forgetting.
Neither one of us can touch him.
All right, Nikki had said it. What do you think about the kicker? Yeah.
You got Jack Podlesny versus Greg Joseph. Well, the whole premise of the story is Joseph has, I think it's 1.5 million guaranteed or 1.7 million guaranteed on his salary, right? And if he loses the battle, what the net savings will only be about $300,000, but the Vikings will have wasted the $1.5 million or whatever they guaranteed Joseph, which is a nice deal. Hey, you can cut me, but write the check. But it's going to be interesting. Now, I think Joseph's getting more kicks. He got twice as much kicks on Thursday than Podlesny did.
Yep.
But it's going to be interesting to play out because I do think it is an absolute competition. And we're being told by everybody it's a competition. So let's see what happens.
We'll see. Dex from Score North thinks it's not a competition, that it's just to push him, but we'll see. I don't know.
And it could
that's the thing that's so
too,
maddening about Joseph is that he'll make a 61-yard game-winning field goal, but he'll miss so daggone many extra points. It's like, come on, dude, consistency.
Hey, and kickers. I've always said kickers are like golfers, and very much it's similar. Motions are similar, and you've got to be right on. And you can have a golfer go all season and just bang out, win all sorts of stuff, just do dead on. And then the next season, something goes weird and they change something in their backswing or whatever it is, and they can't hit the broadside of a barn, and they struggle to get it back. NFL place kickers are the same way. They can be great, boom, 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 and then just have a season where they can't hit the broadside of a barn for some reason.
Right.
And they've got to try to bring it back in. Now, whether was Joseph's year last year a good year for Joseph or a bad year? Can we expect improvement on Joseph this year? Or was last year normal or abnormally high and good?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then when it comes to Jack Podlesny, all right, we knew what he did in college. How does that translate to the NFL? Can he maintain that? Especially when the pressure, we talked about the preseason game coming up on Thursday against the Seahawks. There's another thing I want to look for. I want to see those guys kick. How are they kicking on kickoffs? Are they blasting it through the end zone? Are they placing it at the 1 or the 5, right? Especially with the new kickoff rule. Are they dribbling? However they're doing that, I want to see that. Then I want to see, hopefully, that the offense gets down there and scores enough to put them in a position where, 1, they're kicking extra points, and 2, they each get a couple of field goals apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Those are competitions that I like to watch in the preseason.
And the other question, too, is do you want to turn your kicking game over to a rookie kicking in a year that you're trying to compete as much as they tell us they want to? I mean, I remember in 2018, there was nothing wrong with keeping Kai Forbath. But now, again, put aside the revisionist history of what Daniel Carlson has turned into, because he wasn't that year. But we even said that. I'm just like, are you sure you want to go monkey around with your kicker?
Who was before Forbath?
Oh, geez. Who did they have?
Because we had that
Blair
young
Walsh.
kicker.
Blair Walsh.
Yeah, and Blair Walsh, his first season was dead on
dynamite.
Money.
He was incredible.
Hitting all those 50-plus yarders.
Yeah. And
then Zimmer got into his head, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, hey, we took the rookie punter last year, and it turned out great.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. All right, programming note that I started and bumbled. All right, tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time, Saturday Night Live Skull Report. That's the simulcast across Rap. That's across Purple and Skull Media as well as Yogi's channel. And then at 9 o'clock Central Time, we got Purple Vibes in the Zone. So that's Yogi's channel, Mike Sports Vibe, as well as In the Zone simulcast. It is an absolute blast of a show. And it gets spicy and it gets crazy. And it's just preseason. I don't even know I don't want to know how crazy that show is going to be the night before the game. So tune in tonight if you have an opportunity.
In the Zone is in the comments.
Yes. And Mike was earlier. So, but with that said, yeah, get on over. If you don't subscribe, check out In the Zone podcast. He's exclusively Vikings content. I know Mike Sports Vibe does the split thing between the Vikings and the 76ers. But, hey, he's a Philly guy, a Vikings fan in Philly, living in the heart of Philadelphia with all them Eagle fans. So go show some love to my boy there as well. There was a comment that we had. Nikki, I don't know what you mean about that Yogi put Adam Thielen and Rap was like you had him put a Panther. I don't know what you mean. Say that one again. I don't know how to answer that question. But I still don't know about wide receiver Malik Knowles because Yeah, you got any insight on this Malik Knowles thing? Did they just cut? Was he injured, or what was the scoop there? Nikki had a question about Malik Knowles. You know anything about him?
I think he was injured, but I'm not 100% positive on that.
Well, he cleared waivers, so I think the Vikings can sign him back to their
to the injured reserve.
Yeah. So if they still like him, they'll do that. Appreciate the shot. Yeah, always zone, always. You know, we shout out each other all the time. You know that. I was on Mike's show last night, and he's just like, hey, he was talking all kinds of. I mean, he goes back and forth between talking about the Vikings and the Sixers, but no, it was a good show last night, and I'm just excited, Dave. I really am. I usually don't allow myself to get this excited. You know, the old reserve. My heart's been broken too many times by the Vikings. I'm always cautiously optimistic, but I'm starting to get there. I really am.
Hey, buddy, I've got a feeling about this season, and hopefully it's not an ulcer, but it's,
or a heart attack.
I think this is going to be a special season, and I've been around long enough. I've watched way too much of this team to know. Realistically, hey, they're going to be in the running for a playoff position. Realistically, they'll be out after the first round. If you want to stay, hey, the team's been around since 62 years now. This is the 63rd season. You can say the average is they're going to be right there to get a playoff position, 50-50 on whether they win the division, probably a little less because of Green Bay and their back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But over time, it's real close. It would have happened that they caught up, but and that they're out early. That's normal Vikings behavior. If you want to take the long view and say, this is what to expect, that's what you expect. But every year I tried to get excited because I love this team, obviously.
Right.
I want to get pumped up. I'm more optimistic than most people when it comes to putting out information. Now, I will be frank about he's not good, and this is the reason why. But I try to be optimistic because fans want hope, especially this time of year. So we talk about it, but I actually think this offense, particularly this offense, there's no changes except for the addition of Addison over an aging Adam Thielen. Well, if that's the case, they should do it as well as they did last year. Well, take on the fact that, well, if they should do as well as they did last year, now let's look at things that got better. Hopefully continuity that I talk about of big round bellies, right? They're in their second year together across the board. We expect second year Ed Ingram to step up. Hopefully Ezra keeps improving because he's improved every year. We hope Garrett Bradbury improves. Cool. Keep improving, Garrett, because you sucked your first 3 years. Last year we were decent, but keep improving. Right. And we got the 2 bookend tackles, which are probably the best bookend tackles in the league. And I like Ole backing up O'Neal. Cool. We've got all the weapons. JJ, Addison now, KJ. We have TJ as a tight end. We just brought in Oliver, who's going to make the running game, hopefully add to it being more efficient. The running game, I saw Cook get less efficient last year. And it may partly because of him and partly because of how the plays were called, not optimizing necessarily what he did particularly, but I think that's going to improve. So I think the offense will be better than it was last year. The defensive side, there's a whole bunch of question marks and a whole bunch of youth. Okay. Granted that, but that doesn't mean you can't win and you can't come together and you can't get better than the aged veterans from last year that, ranked 31st. So the biggest change on the defense isn't going to be necessarily the personnel other than I think getting rid of the older guys is going to help because we're getting faster and speed does, like somebody said, speed can kill.
Yeah.
And you'd rather be fast and wrong rather than slow and right.
Correct.
So I think that combined with getting Brian Flores as our defensive coordinator is going to cause all sorts of headaches to our opponents. Heck, it's causing all sorts of headaches
to our
offense.
Yes.
And they quasi know what to expect. You get in, say, Detroit coming into town. Now, they'll have more tape by then because we don't play Detroit until the end of the season. Mm-hmm. But you get Detroit coming in, and suddenly this is the first time they've seen a team that's not playing strictly shells and a total flip-flop on aggressiveness. that alone is going to flip the narrative on a bunch of Vikings games, because literally most every defense in the league, or a good majority of them, is Fangio based. And Fangio based, they want to play too high shell. Why? Because if you don't play too high shell, you get beat by the modern aerial offense. And the way to beat the modern aerial offense is to put two safeties way back there and have them sit. We don't have the running games. It's not 10, 20 years ago when you're pounding a rock up in the middle and you had big linebackers and you had big linemen,
Right.
and you're playing a power game. The game's totally changed to where you're beating, via the pass. And the best way to stop the pass from hurting you badly is to put two safeties way back and let them sit there. Ask Harrison Smith. But that's changing this year. We're not playing that. When the rest of the league zigs on the defense to defeat offenses, we've got Flores who's going to zag his way. And I think that's going to make a difference. Everybody says, Dave, we've got a tough schedule. Oh, man, do we have a tough schedule? We play the top 4 teams in the NFL. The 2 that went to the Super Bowl and the 2 others they beat in the conference championships. Yep, we got a tough schedule. We play a lot of good quarterbacks. But they haven't seen defenses like this. They're not used to that. We are going to take one of those games. I don't know which one. I don't know if it's Chiefs. Hopefully it's the Eagles, because I would absolutely love that with a passion. Right? But we're going to take one of those when we're not favored. And that's going to change things. And attitudes are going to come up and go, whoa, because we play a lot of those early.
Yeah, 3 out of the first 7 games are against those teams.
And it's going to be, people are going to go, whoa, these Vikings could be for real. Let's go Lions. Go Lions.
Yeah.
Build up.
Let's go Lions right up until week 1 when Kansas City destroys you.
Vikings suck. Go Lions.
All right, let me get some shouts. Eric, if you're still here, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you, as always. We got Zach in the building. What's going on, Zach? Thanks for joining. We appreciate you as well. Just a quick reset here for any of the newcomers here. Yes, this is Purple Rain 247. We've got Vikings first and Scold and Purple and Gopher Days throwing it down. Yogi's at practice. He's coming in and out of the stream when he's able to. So that kid, what's up? What's happening? Thanks for joining us as well. A couple of comments here. Northfia says Hitman's going to be a monster again. That might be in my video. I said, there you go. Bob says we'll have the division locked up before we even play Detroit. That's aggressive. That would be awesome.
It would be great. It would be great. It'd be awesome. Jared Hall time, baby.
Yes, exactly. I think Ivan Pace and Andre Carter will be the best duo of outside linebackers. Yeah, well, we'll see. And yes, Andre Carter is been activated and he's out on the practice field.
Is he? Good.
At least, well, that's what Nikki is indicating, that that he's back at practice, and she's at that location. So I'm gonna take her word for it there. So
that's good.
I'm
sure he had some NCO show him the way out there.
Yes, there you go.
He's a young second lieutenant. They need help.
Okay. God dang it! I had a thought a minute ago. Maybe it was
sorry.
No, that's fine.
Sorry to derail you off that one.
No, it's all good.
And
that's what I was gonna say. If you haven't seen my video where I do kind of the good versus the evil, the optimist versus the realist, the optimist in me thinks that the Vikings will be in a position to grab the number 2 seed. The pessimist in me says we'll probably be the 3. But I will say this, that in both cases, I said the game against Detroit at home, we will win. And that will either clinch the division or put us in a position to clinch the division against the Packers on New Year's Eve. So that I will definitely cop to the last game, week 17, might be a meaningless game for us. So I do think I don't know that we'll have the division wrapped up before we play the Lions, but I certainly do believe that we'll be in position to slam the door when we do. And if you haven't checked that one out, that's on Purple and Gold for Days. That's my highlighted video. It's 14 minutes of your life you'll never get back, but you'll never laugh. You'll never laugh. Here's Justin arguing with himself.
And knowing the editing involved, that was quite a feat.
Oh, gosh. All right. So great video. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. I'm glad you watched it. Yeah. Somebody asked me how did you do that? I'm like, well, let's see. It took me 2 hours to shoot and 8 hours to edit. So, yeah. Because he's like, hey, are you going to do that every week? I'm like, well, I went into it thinking I could do this every week, and then I saw how much work it takes to do that. But obviously, each week will only be a 3-minute bit. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much time I got.
It
Because
does
I got
take a while.
podcasts. I got podcast responsibilities on Vikings First and Skull now for
Yes,
another
you
day
do.
here. So we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, and just for everybody asked me, Dave, how long does it take you to do a Vikings daily opener? Which all I'm doing is the news from the previous day, right?
Yeah.
It generally takes me grand total of gathering the news, scripting what I'm going to say, recording multiple times because reading a script is different than just ad hocing it here.
Right.
Getting it right, editing it, getting it ready, all that stuff usually takes me about 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, wow. That much? Jeez.
Yeah, for a 15 to 30-minute show.
Yeah. Davey Chains asked 10 wins at the bye. I think Pessimist said 8-5 at the bye. So Optimist probably had 10-3. So I would say it's possible. I don't know about, I say 10 wins at the bye, no problem. Because let's just go through it real quick. I guess we might as well. You got your 4 games against the Final Four of last year. I think if I had to rank those 4 games, I think the least likely is Kansas City. I think the least likely is Cincinnati, simply because Kansas City's at home and Cincinnati's on the road. But definitely those 2 are the 3 and the 4. And I would say San Francisco would probably be a little bit more likely because, again, that game's at home and Philly's on the road. And it's on the road week 2 on a Thursday night football where you only got 3 days rest. So I would say
they only get 3 days rest too, but they're not traveling.
I was going to say, let's see, Philly, Eagles, do they play at home week 1? I wonder.
Yeah, they're not traveling for week 2.
See, that's okay. So
I don't know what they play week 1, but they're not traveling week 2. Obviously,
I'll pull it up right now, actually.
But
they go to New England week 1. That's right. So they do play on the road, although traveling from New England to Philly is an
it's
hour.
not that far.
That's like us to Chicago. Okay, so Philly's got the advantage. So again, that one's going to be tough. So I say the most likely game that we could steal out of those 4 would be at home against San Francisco. And you know what? We don't know what San Francisco's quarterback situation is going to be. And I've said all summer that I don't know that it matters because the rest of their team is so stacked. And particularly on the offensive line and defensive line, which is where our weaknesses are. You see, when people is like, how can you put San Francisco ahead of the Vikings when you're talking about Cousins versus Brock Purdy? I'm like, I'm not. I'm putting their 5 offensive linemen against our defensive line, which we got Danielle Hunter back, but let's call it for what it is. And I'm putting their defensive line with Bosa and company against our offensive line. That's why I say they're slightly better. Yes, our weapons, our quarterback, our wide receivers, all better. But what do we got defensively? They don't need much with Brock Purdy when our defense is what we saw last year.
But Brock Purdy has never seen a defense like a Flores defense.
True.
That is going to be something to watch. That's what I'm excited for.
Yes.
Now, Justin,
I agree with that.
You continue with the rest of the schedule. I need to take a quick break.
Okay.
I'm out of beer, and I need to lose some beer as well. I'll be right back.
That sounds like a plan. Sarah asks, can you win the division? You have the most wins, but no division wins. Yes. The first determinant of a division winner is who has the better record. So if the Vikings win 11, how many division? If they went 11-6 and lost all 6 division games and won the other 11, and the Lions and everybody else have 10 wins or less, yes, they would win the division. So yes, it is absolutely possible. Division wins or losses, affect your tiebreakers. So let's say that the Lions had a better divisional record than we did, and we both finished with the same number of wins. Then the Lions would get that as via tiebreaker. But no, total wins is the first determinant. I mean, yeah, if the Lions went 6-0 in the division and lost the other 11 games, and we went 11-6 by losing all 6 division games, we still win the division, as an example. I'm going out on a limb. Wow. Davey Chains has got – all right, I'm going to save that one. Remind me to come back to that one, ladies and gentlemen. Davey Chains has got us beaten both Kansas City and San Francisco. I will say this. I'm starting to come around to maybe we're closer to San Francisco than what I've been saying all summer. coming around closer to the optimistic side of the video versus the pessimistic side. That, okay, if this offense can take that next step and this defense can be halfway decent, I think we can close the gap on San Francisco. I'm not putting them ahead of Philly. This will be real. We're not ahead of Philly yet, okay? And part of me would love to play Philly like in the middle of the season when we've had some time defensively to get some things together. Definitely not in week 2 on 3 days rest. I mean, we saw, and I've said this one before too. These Thursday night football games need to go. You can have a Thursday night football game week 1 with the Super Bowl champion getting their rings. That's fine because everybody's coming off of a mini bye week from the last preseason game. I don't mind Thursday night football then. But then I would kill Thursday night football until at least the middle of October. And here's what I'm saying. The Thursday night football games on Thanksgiving, now that we got 3 games, that's 6 teams. All 6 of those teams should be coming off their bye week. And starting like the later part of October, if you want to start up Thursday night football game after about a 6-week hiatus, every team that plays on Thursday night football should be coming off their bye week. We saw in that documentary how much, we always knew how much work it takes for these players to get their bodies in shape after a 3-hour football game on a Sunday, that they're barely ready by the next Sunday. They're never ready by that Thursday. And if they are, it's because they did double time on their day off workouts or day off recovery cycle, whatever the heck you want to call it. I'm sorry. After we saw Kirk Cousins getting beat up, we already knew how much he was getting beat up, but now we really seen it and see how much work it takes for him to get even to healthy again. Now these Thursday night football games got to go. They got to go because you need to be coming off your bye week. You need to be coming off your bye week before you play a Thursday night football game, but that's just me. All right, so I didn't get into the schedule. Oh, I'll let him put his headset back on so he can actually hear me. So I didn't even get to the schedule. I went on a rant about how Thursday night football needs to go away, Dave.
Yeah, I was listening, and you are correct.
Okay.
They should put Thursday nights behind bye weeks.
So yeah, do week 1 and then put it on ice until the middle of late October until you can get to like week 8.
Well, they want them. I can understand because they want a Thursday night every week of the season. I can understand in the early part, do it, but make sure it's not against a one in division or in conference, so it doesn't affect your playoffs as much. Have the NFC play the AFC at that early first part until we get to the first bye week, and then after the bye weeks start, make them after the bye weeks. The NFL wants games.
I know they want games, but I'm just saying, guess what? What do we always talk about? 3/4 of the Thursday night football games are garbage. Why? Well, some of it's because you got to have every team get a game. And so you're going to have bad teams and you're going to have teams that are coming off a short week. Yes, the Thanksgiving Day traditions is what it is. Fine. Give Detroit, Dallas, and the other 4 teams, make sure that their bye week is the week before. And you know what? Take 4 or 5 games from weeks 2 through 5 and say, we're not going to have any Thursday night football games, but then we're going to stagger our buys. And guess what? The games will be better. You know what? If we lost 5 of the 12 games, 5 of the 17 games on Thursday, we're going to lose out money. Like, you're going to gain money back because you're going to actually have a watchable product. But the NFL doesn't think that.
Can't remember, that's Amazon. They bought it.
Yes.
So they got the Thursday night.
Norris has had a shout to you. Creating video isn't simple. 45 minutes of editing per 1 minute of video. Yeah, you're pretty
on
close.
Average. Yeah,
on average, that's about right.
Sarah's talking about Chiefs lost their DB for 6 games due to suspension. Yes.
Which DB was that? Is that one of their starters or?
I don't know. Well, it's everybody's hyping the Lions, and it's like half the team suspended for gambling.
Well, there's that.
And I don't know. If they did, they did. You got to remember, of the Super Bowl teams, usually one of them has a hangover.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, which one? Could it be the Chiefs? I honestly doubt the Chiefs will.
Yeah.
Could it be the Eagles? I think the Eagles might. They lost both of their coordinators. Now, did they bring back most of the team? Sure they did. They have Jalen Hurts. Yep.
And they got an offensive line.
But are they going to suffer that Super Bowl hangover this year?
Maybe.
That's where we may pick up that one. It's possible.
It's possible. All we need. I'm trying not to give away too much of my material.
If we take one of those if we take two of those top 4 teams,
just
then we might repeat last year's record.
Just don't do what the Vikings always do. You went through your whole, over the 60 years of what the Vikings are. You want to know what they also do? They win a game that going into the season on paper, oh wow, I had them losing this game. Yep. They had no business. And then they lose a game they had no business losing. They'll go to Chicago in Soldier Field and lose to a garbage Bears team.
Well, I won't even put Chicago up there, because Chicago's always hell for playing in Soldier Field. Right. I'll say going to some place that's horrible, say the Jaguars or the Panthers or the Texans, and be 2 touchdown favorites and lose. Because they didn't get up for it.
Yeah.
And they didn't show. It's just, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nikki, Joe Burrow's not going to be out until the middle of December. I think he's going to be out the preseason. I think he'll play week 1.
It was just a calf injury.
Yeah, no. It looked like, yeah, if he had blown out his knee, but no, he'll be back there. But I will say this. I'm now looking forward to the game. I was always looking forward to the game against Kansas City, because it'll be the first time we actually get to play against Patrick Mahomes. We have to get rid of the Jim Nantz, Tony Romo curse, because we always play terrible when they're calling games. It's ridiculous. But if we can run offensively, we can keep up with those guys. I'm not saying we're going to beat them. I'm saying we can keep up.
Expect a lot of shootouts this year. This team's built for shootouts.
Yes.
Which makes for exciting football.
Yes. And that's the key. I've said this, you've said this, Tyler said this, Rapp has said this. At the very least, defensively, it's going to be watchable. Last year's defense was unwatchable. It was, guess what? It's 3rd and 8. And you bet they're going to pick up a first down here. And you best bet the middle of the field is going to be wide the hell open. This year,
because the 2 safeties are 20 yards back. The corners are over here about 10 or 15 yards back. And they're waiting for the receiver to come in their area before they do anything. It was frustrating last season. So Ed Donatel drove me crazy.
Davey James is saying, I'm going on a limb. He says we beat both Kansas City and San Francisco. I said, all right, that's a pretty shaky limb, but I like it. I like the sound of it anyway.
Hey, if we do, I hope so.
Yes. Hope so. All right, I'm going to text Yogi, and I'm going to say, all right, when are you going to come back on next, and how much longer do you want us running your channel here? Because
I'm about to say, it's getting long.
We've been on for 2 hours, so hey.
Which is longer than I normally do, not including a draft. Now, if you're looking at the schedule, we play the NFC South. We should win all 4 of those games.
Yes, they should go. Both the optimist and the pessimist said 4-0 against that garbage division.
Okay, and then our division, will we win all 6 games? I would like to think so. But if not, go, win at least 4 of them. So if that's the case, that's 8 wins right there.
Right.
The 4 in the NFC South, and if you win 4 out of the 6 in the division, that's 8 wins right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we play the Raiders in Las Vegas. I don't think they're that great.
No.
But we'll find out. I think that's beatable. I think playing in Denver is going to be another win, because I don't think the Broncos are that good. And I especially don't think Wilson's that good. I don't care who's coaching them. So, that's possibly up to 10 wins right there. So we're at 10. And that's before we talk about the 4 championship teams.
Mm-hmm.
If we scarf 2 more out of that, if we finish 12 with 12 wins, we're going to be the 1 or 2 seed at that point, or close to it in the NFC, because the NFC overall stinks. So I shouldn't say stinks. They don't have the arms race that the AFC has.
Right. Now, just to play devil's advocate,
Throw the Chargers in there too.
I was going to say the Chargers is a 50-50 game, but I like our chances because it's at home and we're coming off a mini bye week. So I like our chances in that game. I really do. I actually have Denver as a loss. And I say, and here's why. That's my game that on paper, you're right, we should win. But it's one of those, I got to pick a game somewhere. And it's Sunday Night Football on the road. I'm
in Denver.
That's
altitude. Wah. Yeah.
And I said this earlier. I don't know if you heard me. This might be before you came into the chat. I think Russell Wilson isn't as cooked as some people do. I think Nathaniel Hackett was just an absolute hack job, no pun intended. I don't think any quarterback would have succeeded. Now, I know that Wilson was garbage his last year in Seattle, but he was hurt. And I think, unfortunately, we have to start giving a little credit to Pete Carroll. He might actually know what he's doing, as much as we love to hate him sometimes, too. But having said that,
assistant coach under Bud Grant, Pete Carroll.
Yes. And according to Sid, we won't get into Sid. We love Sid. Rest in peace, Sid. But to your point, no, there is no reason this team should not. I mean, you figure the 4 games against the Packers and the Bears, the 4 games against the NFC South, like you said, the game against the Raiders, that gets you to 9. You split with the Lions, that gets you to 10. Even if you do get the Denver game or the Chargers game, that gets you to 11 or 12. Yes, there is no reason that this team should not be double-digit wins easily. I think. But
win the division because they should beat Detroit
at least once.
At least once.
Hot his start here. Wait, say it again, Norsefius. I'm not. I don't think I'm either not reading it right or you misspelled something. Say that one again for us. I agree with Sarah. Last year's defensive model was covered no one. Yes, that is correct. But to finish my point there, I'm looking forward to this defense being watchable again. It's going to get burned sometimes. It is, because sometimes when you're ultra aggressive, that can be used against you. There's going to be plays where he blitzes and it backfires. But so what? I'd rather go down swinging than just go down sitting there giving up first down after first down. So I'm looking forward to it.
Rather be fast and wrong than slow and right. And that's basically the nutshell between the two defenses. Last year's defense was sit back and wait for him to come to you. This year's defense will go wreak havoc.
You know, and what's funny about it is, and I texted Yogi because I said, hey, you know what? It's been 2 hours, buddy. I'm running out of gas. What's funny about last year's defense is there were moments of good play. But when you really look back at them, up until the Colts game, from the Colts game backwards, it's like they used up all of their luck in the Colts game. A little bit. I'm saying luck in the standpoint of they got away with playing bad defenses and snuck out with a victory. You know, you got your game against Miami. The defense played well in that game. We were garbage on offense against Miami. We really were. 15 drives and 11 3-and-outs. That's garbage. Okay, yes, we got the hook.
I was about to bring up, there's a lot of times when the defense was just gassed.
Exactly.
In the third quarter, and they were gassed. Because why? We had like 6 3-and-outs in a row. They'd go out there and play, and they drop back because it's a soft defense. You let them down the field slowly, and you stop them in the red zone. And
you get 2 minutes of rest.
They'd turn the ball over to the offense, and the offense would go 1, 2, 3, punt. Defense.
As much as I love giving, as much as I love giving credit to Kirk and JJ and the rest of the offense for all those comebacks in fourth quarters, when you look at that Colts game, you don't get down 33-0 only by the defense. 33-0 means your offense scored what? Nothing.
Goose egg.
And by the way, 14 of those 33 points, block punt for a touchdown and an interception touchdown. The defense only gave up 19 points out of that 33. They only gave up 22 actual points that game. And the Colts got nothing offensively in the entire second half. The Vikings stopped Matt Ryan on that 4th and inches in order for Cook to get the ball to score a touchdown. If they get that first down there, the game's over. What was another one? Oh, yeah, the game against the Jets. Justin Jefferson scores a touchdown to make it 27-15. So they're up 12 with about 7 minutes left. The Jets come down. They ended up scoring a touchdown on a 4th and 1 after going on a 3-minute drive. What did the offense do? 3 and out. Okay. And then they gave the ball back to the Jets. The Vikings defense stopped them at the 1-yard line, kept them out of the end zone. What did the Vikings offense do? 3 and out again. So, and then they finally got the game-sealing interception with like 10 seconds left. That's on the okay. That's a good performance by the defense. So let's stop giving all the credit to the offense and none of the credit to the defense.
Right.
So there's still things that can be
the
molded
offense
here.
too, and hopefully O'Connell fixes the calling portion of that.
That's yes.
Okay, because some of that blame goes on him. It's not just Dalvin Cook getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage. It's not just the offensive line letting somebody get to Kirk Cousins. It's not Kirk Cousins not stepping out of the way of an oncoming rusher. It's part of that was the offensive calling.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've been preaching all this preseason. The offense should have a believe-like board in their offensive room that says score 30 points a game or more. That's our goal.
Yes.
If they score 30 points a game, and that's not scoring every drive, there's 6 or 7 drives a game on average, right? 6 times 7 is 42. So that's score 30 points. If you can go out there and score 30 points a game, I guarantee you, you're 1, in double-digit victories, and 2, you're on your way most likely to the conference championship game because you have a top 5 offense.
Yes.
And they have the ability, they have the talent to do that.
They just got to put it together.
Both, I think, the running back committee, both all the receiving weapons we have, all they got to do is put it together, and I think they can. You do that, this will be a magical season, like I've talked about.
All right, I want to address Nikki's comments because Nikki's proving my point. Well, what about the Vikings come back against the Bills with a 27-10 at halftime? Nikki, the final score of that game was 33-30, which means post-halftime, the defense gave up 3 points, and it was on that 2-minute drive after they scored a touchdown on the Josh Allen fumble. That means they shut the Bills defense down for an entire half minus 1 drive, and they got the game-winning interception in overtime, by the way. So, Nikki, you're proving my point. It's, yes, the offense, okay, that Dalvin Cook home run touchdown, we all talked about it, and, we don't have that anymore. And then they didn't do anything until the middle of the 4th quarter. And
that we know of.
Well.
Chandler may do it.
Yeah, Chandler may. Who knows? Kenny Wangu, who knows? But my point is that let's give you got to remember, but these comebacks, when you're down 17 points to the Bills, and they only score 3 points the rest of the game. When you're down 33 points to the Colts and they only score 3 points the rest of the game, that means the defense shut out a team for half. Now, the Colts were garbage. That's fine. The Bills, not so much. On the road, in Buffalo, in that environment, yes, the defense looked like trash in the first half. Part of the reason is Kirk threw an interception and set him up. Guess what? When Kirk threw that interception overthrowing KJ, the defense came out and held him to a field goal, which is exactly what you want from your defense. Your quarterback, your offense just turned the ball over. They've got the ball at midfield. You hold them to a field goal. That is a win for any defense, much less the well below average defense we had last year. So all I'm saying, yes, Shannon Sullivan. I was at that game, Nikki, that Colts game where Shannon Sullivan got robbed twice for fumble touchdowns that he should have had. And the second one was right in front of me. And if my daughter hadn't been there, I might have dropped a few F-bombs. I was so mad. I'm like, that's twice you've done it to the guy. That's twice. And the second one wasn't even close. But I'm excited, Dave. I'm gonna tell rapper Yogi to come on in here and go ahead and shut this down here because Yogi can talk a little bit more when he gets home tonight, when he gets on his shows later tonight here. I think we've done enough yapping for
I think so too. And I need to get back to work creating.
You've got to get to work. I got to get to
for
work.
Tomorrow's show.
Yes. So thank you so much for the life raft, my friend. I will tune in tomorrow for Two Old Bloggers at 4 p.m. Central Time. So just to be clear, because I keep getting this wrong, I'm going to pull up my calendar right now. Two Old Bloggers tomorrow the 6th, next Sunday the 13th, next Sunday the 20th, the following Sunday the 27th.
Correct.
Labor Day weekend. So Labor Day weekend is Sunday the 3rd of September.
Yes. And then we go to Monday or Saturday the 9th.
Saturday the 9th. Okay, so your first 2 old bloggers moving to Saturday is week 1. So
Week
all
1.
of the preseason on Sunday. Okay, cool. So guess what? Anybody who is in the Twin Cities on the 9th of September, you watch 2 old bloggers from 4 to 5, and then you come out to the Northeast Palace in Minneapolis for Skullfest. Everybody will be there. Myself, Rap, Dave from First and
It's a great lead-in.
Yes, perfect lead-in to Skullfest. So Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk,
I got
GG
my
Sports, SK.
football season planner today from Amazon. Notice the color.
Yeah, if they did the numbers in yellow or gold, that would have been sweet. But white will work.
It would, but yeah, hey, can't ask for everything.
Yeah.
All right, let me get that.
So tune in tomorrow as well as every Sunday up until the last Sunday that they do 2 old bloggers will be Labor Day weekend, and then it moves to Saturdays during the season. And reminder, so again, for Vikings First and Scold, you got Monday nights at 6 Central, Wednesday nights at 6 Central during the season, 4 p.m. on Saturday. And then the post-game show will be starting at the 2-minute warning, regardless of whether the Vikings play at noon or at 3 or 3:30. 2-minute warning is when that goes live. And then on Purple and Gold for Days, you got the Monday night live at 8 Central, 8 p.m., Tuesday night at 6:30, 11 o'clock for the pregame. And
it's hard to see. First note in the book, 2OB, September 9th, leads into Skullfest.
Beautiful. And again, if you're wondering what Skullfest is, again, Yogi, myself, Rap, Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk, SK, GG Sports, and a cast of thousands, Northeast Palace in Minneapolis, starting at 5, going till 9, live DJ after the fact. We are all going to be live and in living color, and I'll just break it right now. The objective is to have it on YouTube as well, but if we can't get the technical things worked out, it will be exclusive.
Just have a great time.
We're just going to have a great time there. Somebody will record it, and we'll put up some highlights on the YouTube pages if we're not able to stream live, because we got to get all of those technical things worked out there. But if you're in the area, come on out and see us. Absolutely.
I see Nikki. She's got a planner too.
There you go. Well, Dave, I'll let you go while I'm waiting for these guys to kill the stream. But what do we say, Dave?
We always say, Skull Vikings.
Skull Vikings, baby. Thanks again, brother. Davey Chain, shout out to you. Thanks for the veteran shout out. Absolutely, man. You know, I do that all the time. And I'm not saying that to be old. Look at me. I say that with all sincerity and all my heart. Whenever my daughter and I say this, I've taught my daughter this too. We'll be at the grocery store. If we see a firefighter or a fire truck, we'll stop and wave to them, or a police officer, say hello to them. Because, again, we cannot thank all of you guys, military, police, firefighters, EMS, frontline workers, doctors, nurses, for everything that you guys do. Because at times, I'm not going to say it's a thankless job, but at the same time, I'm going to say that, you know what, it's not appreciated as often as it should be. So every time I can, I will say thank you. Yeah, I was like, what the heck with the Colts too? No, that was the first game that I took my daughter to, that Colts game. And I'll be honest with you. At halftime, I knew the Vikings had the ball first. And we were down 33-0. I was like, well, we got to get a touchdown on this drive. Otherwise, the game's over because we're not going to have enough possessions. And what they do, they went 3 and out. And I'm just like, well, my daughter wasn't here. I would have thought about leaving. But I stuck around. And, man, was it fun. It was fun. Jets would have blown us out of the defense, didn't hold them field goal. Yeah. That Jets game, 20. What was the final score? 15 minus 7 is 5. Yeah, 27-22. They scored 1 touchdown and 5 field goals. Let's give the defense some credit. Yes, the defense, it was not sustainable. And that Dallas game showed the world, how do you beat the Vikings? You don't stop Justin Jefferson. He's unstoppable. You stop Kirk Cousins by blitzing him up the middle because our offensive line in the middle is terrible. That's how you beat the Vikings offense. Just get to Kirk Cousins. Don't let him throw the ball to JJ. I mean, I know that sounds real simple, but that's the simplest way to put it. So, yeah, by the end of the year, the defense didn't have any of the magic that it did to begin with. All right, y'all. I'm going to call Yogi because I don't want to just say, hey, bye, and let his stream run blank for a while because, you know, that wouldn't look too good. But I'm going to ask Yogi to get in, maybe give one more take or two, and then I'm going to get up out of here. I got editing to do, and I haven't eaten yet in a while, so. Oh, great. Right to voicemail. Maybe his battery died. Maybe that's why he got out earlier. Yep. All right. Rap, where you at? Ed got to stop stepping. Yes, Ed does need to stop stepping on Kirk's feet. You're 100% right. Yo. Yeah, can you come back in and say goodbye or whatever, and then kill the stream? Because I've been on for 2:20. I said, can you get back into the stream and shut it down? Because I'm about to sign off. All right, I'll see you in a minute. All right, Rap's going to jump back in, and he'll say hello or say whatever and say goodbye. And yes, you're right, Dave. Filming on the phone does take a lot of battery power. But what's up, AJ? Good to see you, brother. 2 hours and 20 minutes in, and guess what? We done. So go back and watch it. It's a little bit of a train wreck because Rap was on a family trip, and Yogi had some live shots for a while. I had Dave from First and Skull come on in to help me out a little bit because this was kind of at the last minute. What's up, brother?
Yo. Oh, you can see my wife. Oh, y'all can see my wife. Man, listen, man, we out here, no shirt gang. You already know what time it is.
Oh, my gosh. Your wife, when I see y'all at Skullfest, be like, you had me half naked on the stream on Yogi's channel.
It's all right.
Anyway, did you have a good time? You have a good time with the family?
I did, man. Who in the chat, man?
We got Norsefius, we got AJ, we got Davey Chains, we got Sarah, we got Nikki, My Worthless Opinion. We got the usual crew. You know, the usual crew.
Yeah, man. My bad, y'all. I ain't have no service where I've been at, you know. Right. Shout out AJ, man. I see you, AJ.
There you go. So your show coming up at 8:00 tonight on the East Coast.
Yeah, man, we doing the ticket giveaway too, so make sure y'all in the building, man. We giving away the ticket for the game, man. So yeah, it's gonna be big tonight. 8:00. Yeah, 8:00. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. I gave a shout out to you there. So I'm just gonna say thank you everybody for joining us.
Man, how was it? How was it though, real quick, Dave? How was it, man? I know you gotta go, but how was it?
It was fun. You know me. We just turn it on and we just start talking, and we got all the lovely people in the chat helping us out. And Yogi gave us some shots. He found Tyler, Dave's partner on First and Skull. So we talked to him for a little bit as well. But no, it was fun. It was fun. It wasn't it wasn't like what a night practice would be because it was out on the football fields versus being in the stadiums. But at the same time, it's always fun to talk Vikings football with our fans.
Were y'all able to see plays, though? Were y'all able to see some plays and stuff?
No, where Yogi was at was too far. He was in the end zone, so it's a little far back, and he can't really zoom on that. But
okay.
We heard there was one minute where Yogi was filming, and all of a sudden the crowd blew up. So somebody did something good.
Oh, okay. All right, man. But yeah, man. Well, tonight, everybody in the chat tonight, just make sure y'all there. It's going to be good. We're doing our top 5 quarterbacks, man. And hell no, he ain't on my list.
I almost asked if I hadn't gone for 2 hours. I was about to jump in right at the end and be like, "How do you not have Kirk in your top 5, Rap?" But
man,
that's all
hell
right.
no, he ain't on my list, man. So don't ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, congratulations on the 24K, baby. 2,400 subs for our guy Rap over on Purple Pocket Podcast. Congratulations,
man,
brother.
For sure, man. You already know we did, man. Thank you to everybody, man. Thank you to everybody. Sarah talk about why Rap driving half naked. I came from the water park, Sarah. I came from the water park. It's hot out here. It's like 102 degrees. Like I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be having no shirt on after coming from the water park. That's all. You know what I mean?
All right, y'all. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. If you don't already subscribe to Rap, subscribe to Rap. If you don't already subscribe to Justin, that's Purple and Gold for Days. If you don't already subscribe to Dave, that's Vikings First and Skull. And of course, where we at this whole time, Purple and Rain 247. Hit them like buttons on the way out, and we'll see you at 7:00 Central Time. The boys will be going Saturday Night Live as Rap, Yogi, and SK. And for now, Skull Vikes, y'all have a great evening.
I'll let you boys.
Peace.